get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit. HIMS.com/RADIO.
I'd rather ride a bike with my kids.
Faster! I'd rather play catch with my dog than catch pneumococcal pneumonia.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20 pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. If you are 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like heart disease or asthma, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients.
Crossover! Killer crossover!
Just crossover and just crossed him over. That's
another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Oversea Week brought to you by Every Little Country Apparel, not everylittlecountry.com. Hello! How's everybody's mentions doing? If you talk about Colorado, have you met any new friends from out in the 308? Here's what you do. You know where Colorado 303.
Yeah,
is it 303? It's 303. You know where the Colorado 308 is in Nebraska. I know.
Western Nebraska. Grand Island.
But essentially, Denver is Western Nebraska.
That's true.
There you go. That's a good way to say it. You know where the Colorado fans live more than anything outside of like where they physically live. Actually, they probably don't even physically live in Boulder, most of them. They live on YouTube. They love YouTube. What's up with Colorado fans and YouTube?
Did they just?
Could someone explain this to me? No.
Well, the program lives on YouTube.
See, there you go. Bingo.
That's a good way to put it.
I mean, like TikTok, they put out so much practice film. Now, nothing that you can diagnose and break down, but they put out so much. They have so many different accounts that put out Colorado current football content on TikTok.
I know.
But that program lives on YouTube.
And then they comment on every video. So I've had many encounters with many Colorado fans over the last several months getting ready for this game. So I'm prepared. I'm ready.
It's we were talking about this on Saturday. It was easy to turn that page because it was so very calm and very uplifting on Saturday that even though we lost a day yesterday because of the holiday, we were able to start getting a little bit into it. A lot of people were starting to chime in on the Colorado hate. So it's Friday. I think it's going to be at another level. Friday, there's going to be a lot of anger and anticipation.
I don't know. I think Rule hurt us yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
For us that want the stadium to burn down.
Yeah.
And want
seriously,
like where, Colorado's hotel, they, wanting people to hang out there and pull fire alarms and Rule ruined it.
He does not want to be.
But remember, he did say
the leader of an insurrection.
He said, "Be Nebraska nice on Sunday," though. Yeah. Those were his words. He said, "Be Nebraska nice on Sunday."
That means you can be mean on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what he meant. Yeah. I saw people taking that the wrong way. They were like, "Hey, Rule, come on, we're gonna be mad." We're that's what he said.
Yeah, he said, "Do it on Sunday. Saturday's for the hurt."
I really wish you would
January
engage.
6th, September 7th.
I really wish you would engage, but nothing.
He's got love in his heart.
Not a peep. I got love in my heart.
I
man.
think also
the humble brag of going skiing in Beaver Creek. Very cool.
Oh yeah, with a Colorado fan that it was a female Colorado fan that used a profanity at him.
Some lady came up to me.
So you could say, "Hey, because we recruit in Colorado, I was recognized as well."
yeah,
because he doesn't look like he looks like a normal guy, probably wearing a hat.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a Nebraska guy.
That a female college football fan recognized him as the Nebraska football coach and said, I wish I'd like to ask him off to the side what she said.
Yeah, I want to know. It's like, oh,
hey, you're Matt Rule, right?
You're Coach Rule for the Huskers.
Yourself.
Yeah, that's kind of that's what I insinuated that when he said I can't repeat it.
So he's probably very disarming, and he was like, "Oh, okay."
He's like, I mean, maybe I should.
Hey,
College football, am I right?
You think he did that?
I mean, we're always talking college football.
College
I mean, it
football.
doesn't matter where we're at.
Yeah, immediate reaction. Man, isn't this what makes the sport great?
This is why I came back to college.
I bet he did.
Ma'am, sit down and have a drink. This is my wife, Julie.
Yeah, he looks at Julie and just says that. Isn't college football great?
The most
God, I love
disarming
it.
person on planet Earth.
I used to I used to know the people that owned Big Red of the Rockies.
Oh yeah.
And they would tell just horror stories of the Colorado week out
That's
there.
an Aspen.
Yes.
Aspen. Little pistol.
Of like
flows like wine.
first of all, Colorado fans
I
could
don't know
never
the French or
understand
ales.
why a Nebraska store would be in Aspen.
Yeah.
And then because it's changed hands a few times, but this would be see if we were doing our show in Boulder today, we could be at Big Red of the Rockies.
Is it not owned by Gary anymore?
It is.
Okay.
But it shifted hands a few times.
Okay. Yeah.
But he doesn't have as many like bad stories.
No, but he did. He has the place at the right time. Maybe you give it up now. Maybe you sell it now because Nebraska and Colorado probably are going to play each other. Probably. Is this the last time in our lives?
It's got to be for a while. I
imagine it will be. Unfortunately, because it's a regional matchup
in playoff.
Well,
Now,
yeah,
could
I
you
mean,
imagine?
what happens if Tony White takes Colorado to the playoff? For the next
Oh
couple
dear
years?
God, that would be horrible.
He'd be one of the first calls I would make.
Don't you put that juju
Would
on
be
us.
Tony White. Plus,
Did
you
you
don't
just think of this?
No, I've thought about this for a while.
No, this is a bad idea.
If
You
I'm
need to stop
Colorado,
thinking about
Tony
this.
White is the most ideal guy to run my program. I don't want that to happen,
Yeah,
but I'm saying if you're looking at candidates for next year to be the head football coach at Colorado, Tony White would be a home run hire.
he indeed would be. Yeah, I would like to have Tony White as my head coach if I needed one. He's very good. Even though he wears
the guy that comes in after prime.
long sleeves, neon long sleeves.
Yeah.
Hey, and it was hot.
Those aren't in our
It
official
was
colors.
it was over 100 on the field. Like I didn't expect it to be that warm, but it was hot in Lincoln.
We were getting a lot of people talking about how hot it
But
was.
hey,
on the sun.
but the fans were
on the
jacked
field.
up at the beginning of the game. That sounded like a big time game.
I know.
I mean, fans
It was
were
amazing.
engaged. They were. I mean, I brought this up. Maybe we'll get this trending. Because I think there's possibly balloons going to be in the air.
Has to be.
balloons are back.
Troy Dannon put a red balloon.
I saw it. I saw the tweet.
They reached out to a manufacturer of the balloons in Lincoln to see if they had inventory.
Oh my God.
Helium's back.
The hippies are going to be triggered.
Well, look who we're playing too.
That blue coat lady on campus, she is going to have a bad time. Sorry. Balloons are going back up.
But fans were engaged early. It was warm. I mean, it felt like it wasn't just a game against UTEP. So I imagine that they will be even more engaged on Saturday night.
Yes.
The parking lots will open a little bit earlier.
I got to remind myself I got to remind myself to bring my that laser heat gun so you could tell what temperature is.
But it's going to be chilly.
I know.
People might be wearing hoodies.
Yeah,
You know what?
it's
There
a
might
good
be
hoodie game.
chili served at tailgates.
I'm always jealous of
Oh.
those people though who remember to bring their laser heat guns. Last week,
How many?
I
people
saw
are there?
all the news reporters. I got my laser heat gun and it's 97.4 on the field.
Did we get the wet bulb
I
effect
need to
too?
bring that to the College World Series next year.
Yes.
What
We'll
was
work that.
Okay.
We
what
have
was-
access to one of those.
What was the wet bulb? Do we know?
It wasn't that humid. It was just
No.
It
Yeah,
was just hot.
that's true. It wasn't very humid. You're right.
Sorry. No action for the wet bulb
No wet bulb impact.
on Saturday.
Okay.
SP Plus is out for the week.
Mm.
Would you care to know what
Hey,
SP
look, there's-
Plus
isn't that-
projects?
Looks like a little Colorado sticker. right there.
31-27 in favor of Nebraska.
That's a good guess. Nick, would you like to guess what SP Plus projects for Colorado and Nebraska?
28-24.
You guys missed on the spread of this by a little bit. Nebraska 30, Colorado 20.
Oh, that was my exact guess.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, Josh. I didn't ask.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
okay. Oh man.
You're a liar. It wasn't your guess.
There was there's a little controversy at Penn State. Did you guys?
Yeah,
you
there
guys
was.
hear their offensive
Yes, there
coordinator?
was,
There was
Gary.
a little controversy.
There was
at
a little
Penn State.
controversy there. Too soon?
At the Penn State West Virginia game. Thank you.
There you go.
Did you hear the offensive coordinator after the game who
Yeah.
was on Lance Leipold's staff? And so Drew Aller looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Penn State looked pretty good.
Yeah, they did.
So he was explaining his offense like a DQ blizzard. He said it might look complicated, but at the end of the day, it's just vanilla ice cream and your favorite candy. Make it look complex, but keep it simple.
That's good.
Are blizzards complicated?
No.
No, it looks
Great poll
complicated.
question.
Sometimes when the candy toppings or whatever you decide to put in there are not at the bottom, apparently it is more complicated than we give it credit for.
Can you
Great point, Nick.
Can you hold Penn State's offense upside down?
And it doesn't
See, that's where you like you
doesn't
have to go to
drip.
the next level to ask those questions.
that would have been great. Somebody said
really
that.
let down by the media yet again.
Yeah. So in this analogy, what's the big red spoon?
Who is the spoon that stirs the blizzard?
The big red spoon.
And then
Yeah.
also because we are Midwesterners, don't we judge the quality of a city on how many Dairy Queens they have?
I can't say that I ever have, but I don't know that that'd be a bad.
I'm actually
representation.
I like to judge a smaller town if they have a knockoff Dairy Queen, like a Dairy King or a Dairy Chef, and you get the smaller communities that have those, and you've got a good town there.
We ate at the Dairy Queen in Milledgeville, Georgia over the weekend.
Josh experienced
nice.
a lot of Georgia this
Yes.
weekend.
Yeah.
More than
Been
anticipated.
Up and down those county back roads.
Oh,
How were the boiled peanuts?
There was a gas station we went into that had boiled
Are
peanuts.
They
those
have
any-
signs on the
are
side of
those
the
any
road.
good?
And it
No.
Okay, I've always heard about them.
It's
They
useless.
sound interesting.
it didn't look very
It's an acquired
sanitary.
taste.
Yeah.
But I think it's acquired taste if you grow up around it. But if you're a Yankee like myself that went to the South
Yeah.
and tried them, it's disgusting.
Okay. Does it have any
It's
flavor?
acquired taste, man. Just have a few more.
Does it have a flavor at all?
No, it just like zaps all of
That's
it.
what I
out.
Yeah.
thought. If you
It's
boil
like
them,
soggy. It's
oh
so a
Um,
Dairy Queen in
no.
nowhere, Georgia.
Mhm.
Um,
That's right.
How was it?
It was actually very pleasant. There was a large group of us. We all ordered meals and drinks and ice cream.
Did they flip the blizzard?
Almost
get-
literally dying.
Did you get the gravy?
Did I get the gravy at Dairy Queen?
Yeah, the gravy with the chicken strips.
No.
Do they flip the
Cheeseburger.
blizzard there?
I didn't get a blizzard.
Okay.
I didn't see any flipping going on. I'll
That's
be
what I was
honest.
wondering. I know it's kind of hit or miss.
Did you
But,
get a?
but that's a
dip cone?
must. That is in the company requirement
Mhm.
that you must turn the blizzard upside down.
Did you get a dip cone? Did you get a dilly bar?
I went with a shake.
Did you get a fudgy the
A
whale?
shake.
Yeah.
Hey, good
Just
on
needed
you.
to drink it.
That is such an East Coast.
Mhm.
That's
Good on you.
Carvel. That's
Yeah.
that's Carvel. If we need a Carvel in Omaha. That's what we need.
I'm with
Hell
you.
yeah.
This is very much a New York.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed it is. It's been a couple years for me since I've been to a Carvel. I would love a Fudgy the Whale. Every year for his birthday, my dad requests a Fudgy the Whale. And guess what? We can't get it for us. He never gets it. He never gets his Fudgy the Whale. Sorry, Dad. He settles for a coconut cake.
When is your dad's birthday?
It's December.
Can we make this happen?
Get
Can
him a
you have
Fudgy
it-
the Whale?
You can have
They ship, right?
Are there any Carvels in grocery stores around here?
I don't think so.
I'm sure they ship.
Can I ship a Fudgy the Whale to me?
Yeah, because we do this with the Taste of Chicago all the time, where you can get Lou Malnati's pizzas and everything. I mean, they keep them nice
Yeah.
and frozen, and they
I mean,
hold.
if they can ship Runzes and Valentinos to
Right,
Washington,
yeah.
D.C.
You get a Fudgy the Whale.
Would
they
you
could
settle
send
for
us-
a cookie puss?
No.
What?
No. He's very specific about this. It's Fudgy the Whale and the real Entman's crumb cakes.
Mm.
Not the coffee cakes, not the mini crumb cakes. They don't sell them here anymore. He's very particular
Ooh,
about this.
A good coffee cake sounds good right now.
No, the
There-
crumb cake. The
Okay.
crumb
There
cake.
are 9 Carvel locations in Puerto Rico and none in Nebraska.
Wow.
Now, I
How
understand.
about that?
There's only 2 cities in Nebraska that would even consider getting a Carvel, but there are 9 in Puerto Rico.
Hell yeah. Where's the nearest one to where we are, Josh?
Let's see. It would be
Any in like Illinois?
Missouri.
That's
Sounds
not bad.
about right.
Depends on where it is in Missouri.
They are hoarding places from us in Nebraska. The Whataburger.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on. Time to get over here, Waterburger.
Waffle House.
We're in Sappington, Missouri.
7-Elevens.
7-Elevens. Do we have any?
No.
No.
Closest 7-Eleven is in Kansas City.
Well, this Carvel's permanently closed. Get it off your website. There are none in Missouri.
Okay.
No? Okay.
Never mind.
Chicago it is.
But go back to my theory. Like, if a town has a lot of Dairy Queens, probably a pretty good town.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm on board with this now.
Like, we have quite a few Dairy Queens in Omaha.
But if we got a Carvel, then we'd be the GOAT.
There's one in Roseville, Minnesota.
Ooh.
Okay. Is
That's
that
one
a
of the
suburb
Twin
of
Cities?
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
outside Twin Cities. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. I can go.
I've
with
never
that.
had a Fudgy the Whale. I'd like to try one. I would.
What did you say?
I've never had Fudgy the Whale, but I'd like to try one.
Okay.
It sounds good.
You can order one whenever we find the way to ship a fudgy to whale to my house.
Shipped here for my birthday.
Without stealing any more of the good Georgia stories that you'll share until 2, do you have any others that you will not forget in your interaction with our friends down in Georgia?
I will not forget waiting for
People to get out of the
players
hospital?
to get out of the hospital so I could go home, but not wanting to say that exact thing.
How long would you say you guys were delayed because of precautionary measures?
Listen to this. Listen to this, Mister. I'm on my high horse, high fool. Listen to go ahead, Josh.
By the way, at the end of the day, Iowa Western did win this game. So
42-41 in overtime. It was a battle of 2 top 15 teams.
Nice.
War of attrition as bodies were dropping like flies. It was 95 on the field.
Here's a good way to put it, Josh. When did you expect to get home on Saturday night?
Yes.
I expected to get home about 8 or 9 o'clock.
When did you get home on Saturday?
I walked through my front door at about 2 a.m.
Embarrassing. And he's all
Yeah,
he's
2
like,
a.m.'s fine. You still got.
what a shame.
What an
Isn't that when you
ordeal.
usually go to bed anyway?
It is.
Yeah, so
It
you're good.
is. Had to wait to watch football until Sunday.
Yeah, you had to have Josh time on the plane.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Everybody was freaking out. Oh, Oregon's close. I watched that game. It never felt in doubt.
whoa.
They
I don't know.
Never put up much
Your,
offense.
yeah.
though.
a fellow Burke alum is the coordinator of Idaho's defense.
That's right.
Dan Jackson.
Shout out, Dan.
Let's
Who
go, Coach.
Put us in the Hall of
Jackson.
Fame together.
So how about this? So I texted DJ and I was like, hey, kudos, man. Your kids played hard for you. And he said, yeah. He goes, I've never coordinated a defense where we ran 95 plays. Guess who his first phone call was Sunday morning after they had gotten back from Eugene?
Scott
Matt
Frost.
Rule.
You're all kind of close. Eric Chenander, who is the coordinator at Boise State because
Hi,
Boise
Jens.
State
Yeah.
plays Oregon.
Boise had a tough time this past week against Georgia Southern again.
Luckily, that one guy ran for 6 touchdowns.
Did one of you guys make reference to the Los Angeles Scott Frosts?
The Los Angeles Scott
I
Frost?
guess
he's with
Scott
the
Frost,
with
yeah.
the Rams coach. and
That
Good
would
stuff.
for
be-
him. He's back in
Yeah,
football.
he's back
It's
in
an
football.
ideal spot.
in L.A.
He is with an elite play caller. It's good for him.
My question is, can he work remote?
What is your
He really likes Phoenix.
What is your golden
He
tee
does
policy?
like Phoenix a
Yeah,
lot.
can he work remote? Technology is a crazy thing. I could get a Fudgy the Whale shipped to my house. Why can't Scott Frost work in LA from Phoenix?
That's a little bit more of a hands-on job. I
Is
don't
it?
know. I
Do we
feel like
know?
it is.
Do we know that?
He was there quite a bit during OTAs and training camp.
Scott Frost does not seem like a guy who wants to live in Los Angeles.
Can we go back to Carvel for like 30 seconds?
Sure.
Let's use our powers for good here on the radio.
Okay.
Hey, guy who always promises to get the biggest and best things in the Gretna area and never comes through on a single one of them.
Oh,
Get us a Carvel, then I'll forgive you for all the broken promises.
Then
you've made.
Then I can have a
Wow,
Fudgy the
did-
Whale.
Did Josh
See
just
what it's
call
all
out
about.
Rod Yates?
Well, no, I would
Yeah.
never name any names.
Josh, I didn't know you were broken up about lack of hockey team.
Lack of hockey team, lack
Yeah.
of this store is definitely coming. This store is definitely coming. And those stores aren't here.
Where's Big Lake?
That's right.
That
coming.
still hasn't happened
Yeah,
yet.
Big Lake.
Coming.
Big Lake.
The aforementioned is supposed to have a house near Big Lake.
Well,
Now
that makes sense.
he has to find a place in LA.
You gotta. Oh yeah, that's yeah. Well, does he still have his? Does he still have his lake house out there?
Pretty sure.
Interesting.
Nice.
Wonder if he comes back very often.
If he caught that big bass.
So his mom still lives in Lincoln. So he was back a bit during the summer. Very low profile.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
But you know what? Hey, good for him. He's back in football.
Yeah.
He can work with Sean McVay. He's doing, just an introduction.
Maybe he can work from home.
You just don't think he wants to leave Phoenix at all.
Would you be?
He loves Phoenix.
Would you be triggered if, like, let's say special teams does well for the Rams this weekend, and Frost takes credit for it, and he's like in Cliff Kingsbury's old house?
Oh, yes.
And he has that picture that he tweets out.
That house.
That's awesome.
That is a drug kingpin's house.
Yeah, Cliff's letting me rent.
It is. He couldn't unload it yet, so now he's just letting people rent it. It was gonna VRBO it.
Yeah, no, that does seem like a fine spot for him if he wants to. I just didn't know if he wanted to coach football again.
I just always thought if the Cardinals ever had a gig, that would be ideal.
Indeed, they probably.
Well, the whole Arizona State thing made so much sense. Like, yeah, get on the ASU staff. That'd be perfect. Yeah. Tempe's a short drive from Scottsdale.
Yeah, it's kind of a commute though.
Really.
How many flights do you think go from Phoenix to LA a day? Probably like 40
at least.
Yeah.
He could hop on one of those, come back at night.
Totally.
Get back with the kids.
He loves his family.
He loves Phoenix.
So after practices, he's flying back to Phoenix.
Do you think when he flew to come back
That's
to
when you just love where you live.
Do you think when he flew to come back to his lake house over the summer that he flew Allegiant to Grand Island?
and then drove?
So he'd be incognito?
Yeah.
They'll never suspect.
Go to
him
the back of the plane, put the hood on, and
like, man, that guy looks
right
like
into
Scott
Grand
Frost.
Island.
That
No
can't be Scott
paparazzi
Frost.
in Grand Island.
No. Or hanging around the Allegiant terminal.
Or a lot of connections from Grand Island elsewhere.
Nope.
Phoenix or Vegas? That's where you're going at a Grand Island.
Speaking of incognito, did you guys see who's back in the family? Richie Incognito is back.
What do you mean?
He was tweeting the little GBR over the weekend.
All right.
Oh, fair weather.
How's he doing?
He was just on a podcast with Edelman,
Okay.
and it was
Good?
pretty good.
Okay.
So Richie Incognito
I seriously
has a
asked the question,
Twitter?
like, how is he doing? Because
He looks the same as when he retired.
okay.
Fat?
He has a body that probably is not built for
Look at
Ozempic.
that. Go big red corn emoji.
Yeah.
He-
See, he believes.
He didn't try and stuff Danny. He didn't try and stuff Edelman in a locker.
No.
Okay.
At least what they showed on the podcast.
Somebody commented
That'd be great if he's still up to those tricks.
somebody commented a picture of
Can't help myself.
Richie Incognito in the famed 2002 big stripe down the side
Oh, the splash.
jersey.
Yeah, the red splash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, those were bad.
Was that the Penn State game?
It looks like the Penn State game.
Okay.
They're coming out of a tunnel somewhere, but yeah. Ugh.
There was a couple to choose from that year.
That is one of the most amazing. Like, they thought that they had something cooking there.
Yeah.
They were like, let's do this.
Yep.
1 year.
Stevie P.
Gone.
This looks great. Boy, this is awesome.
Amazing.
The
Amazing
white
stuff.
flag whites. Yeah.
Those were tough. Those were a tough look, not tough like the kids say
Yeah.
these days.
Interesting question. I don't know if you would make it as a poll question, but does Richie Incognito still put people in lockers? Just one of those,
Probably not a
Just
poll
one of those.
question.
Just one of those habits you can't break.
Considering he's on Twitter a little bit.
That
probably
was
not good.
quite the run because
Followed by Dylan Raiola. Oh, look at that.
is he?
Mhm.
Oh,
He knows.
because his dad, who has since passed away, I believe. Remember how active he was on message boards
Yes.
when all that
Mhm.
stuff was going down?
Yes.
I heard him say some wild stuff to people, man. He was when they kicked off on Saturdays, he was in a whole different world.
There is a lot
Can
of
only imagine.
there's a lot of stories about especially offensive linemen who were just like they were true insane people.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, he was insane.
So
Yeah.
his son is starting against Colorado on Saturday, 99, where Nebraska blows a lead in the fourth quarter,
Mhm.
and then they have to win it with a field goal in overtime.
Yeah.
And Nebraska celebrates like they had won the national championship. I mean, guys were running around the field. The guy that's going to start at quarterback on Saturday,
Mhm.
his dad
Yeah.
took off his helmet and went to the end zone where the students are and invited all of them down to perform on the field. I'm wondering if his son will do the same thing.
He goes over the little sliver.
That would be great.
The little sliver of Colorado fans there.
That would be awesome. What a heel turn it would be if Dylan Raiola went up to the end zone
Yeah.
after throwing a touchdown.
Yep.
Like he
You
didn't
like that?
I guess I didn't focus on him after scores. He really didn't do anything.
No.
He did the.
He didn't do like
the kisses to as he's running into the end zone.
He didn't like run around the field doing the helicopter.
No, he didn't. No, he did not.
Bit of a football robot.
Only one former wide receiver could do that. No, he did. He did this.
What does Mahomes do for celebrations?
The little pitter patty feet run into the end zone, celebrate, then head to the sidelines.
Yeah, not much going on.
I mean, we didn't have the biggest celebration was after the interception, where the defensive guys have their new celebration.
Yes, their little arms are flying around everywhere.
They look like
what a job by them. What a celebration.
I think it officially is called the inflatable. Hey, look, our business is open.
Wacky wavy inflatable.
Yeah, wacky wavy inflatable. Yeah.
Tube man. Patrick Mahomes TD celebration. Let's see if we can learn anything.
I mean, that's a lot you're going to look at there, Connor.
Yeah, let's just see what
There is
comes
quite the
up.
library.
There are a lot of
Patrick
There's a lot to choose
Mahomes
from.
passed to Justin Watson. Oh, I have to watch an ad for 4 seconds.
Guess you don't have YouTube Plus, huh?
I guess not.
Why don't you log in?
All right, so here's Patrick. He throws it, and then he just goes up to Justin Watson and he hugs him. And there's a flag.
Does he blow kisses?
Why is this on YouTube? I have no idea.
Patrick
Mahomes and Tyreek Hill funny TD celebration.
So this whole new sideline that Nebraska's on, we're going to have some problems.
The west side.
It's very cramped over there.
Not
a lot of room.
The other thing
he gave Tyreek Hill a piggyback ride.
Little Tyreek on back there.
Well, piggyback ride.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
Dylan will be carrying Isaiah Naylor this weekend. And especially this weekend, we could have some trouble. So Nebraska comes out. UTEP came on the field at exactly the same time on Saturday. Nebraska comes out, so they run to where their new sideline is, but then guys start running down the field towards the end zone.
Always.
As UTEP players are coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're going to have to make sure Colorado comes out a little earlier.
Oh, we could get a dust up before the game
no,
started.
I think they'll play games.
Yeah. They'll time it.
I bet Colorado comes on the field at the same time. And what happens is, so then you have
the cheers and boos.
And then you have like UTEP players were running to the end zone and they're having to run through Nebraska
That's
players.
where they all go. They all, for whatever reason, they all go down to the end of the end zone and pray.
Mm-hmm.
What's up with that? I mean, praying is great, but
what's up with prayer?
Wow. I mean, prayer.
Why do you have to go to the end of the end zone to pray? Why can't you just pray where you're at?
Well, I believe that was first made popular by one Timothy Tebow.
Are you insinuating that maybe if you're Colorado and you want to pray, you should just drop to a knee on the end?
Just pray wherever you want to pray. You don't have to run all the way across the field to pray.
We need to
do it on the sideline.
We need to revisit that because
they're
coming for that logo.
Oh yeah,
okay,
totally are.
But this is going to be an issue this year because, I mean, guys were like trying to avoid each other while UTEP's coming on the field. Nebraska's running down to the end zone. It might be interesting. The refs might want to stand out there.
I'd like to say this. I think all the people getting mad about the stuff that happens on logos is one of the most ridiculous things to get mad at of all time.
Yes, but it's going to happen.
It's sacred.
And Nebraska probably won't react. They could poop on it if they wanted to. They could take the dog poop that guy was supposed to eat, dump it on the
Red
field.
Solo Cup.
3-2-1 null.
So isn't it ironic that we have midfield prayer gate that has been kind of squashed by rule, but there is a guy that is hanging around the Colorado football program that one of his most famous moments in his football career is the logo at Cowboy Stadium when he was with the Niners.
Oh yeah, T.O.
Terrell Owens.
Oh, I was thinking of Warren Sapp on his knee needing the oxygen mask.
Yeah,
get up, fat boy.
Or play the hell
T.O.
out of that
has
on
been a part of
Saturday.
that. Yes, he has. T.O. knows how to rile.
That
people.
was awesome. Now, if you're going to do something on the logo, do that. Do it during the game and just stand there in the middle of the star.
Yep.
That was,
and he was like
ballsy.
one of the first to ever do something like that.
Yeah, then it became a thing. Then people just started doing it. Planting flags in there, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, Baker planting the
Baker,
flag.
yeah.
That was a good
I
one.
love when they try to do it into field turf,
I think
too. That's
just
my
as
favorite.
a word of wise and looking out for our men and women in uniform that are going to have to protect.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope that the Lincoln Police Twitter account is active and funny on Saturday.
Yeah, me too.
I expect it to be.
If by chance in that stadium, with as angry as people are, if before the game there was something on the end, they would have to protect the Colorado sideline. And I'm being serious.
Oh, you're right.
There would be people that would take it personally,
Mhm.
and they would come out of the stands.
Mhm. Because remember, at Nebraska, contrary to at most places, you can walk on field level. You're invited to walk on field level. It's all
You can
over
go
the
and
place.
at Colorado,
Get right behind the fence.
Colorado, that on the visiting sideline, that short short wall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could reach out and touch
Mhm.
players.
You indeed can. It's not. It's a very it's very tight quarters, the tunnel
Yeah.
they come out of.
God, I can't wait for Saturday.
Yeah, it'll be good. They've screwed up their uniforms too.
Colorado?
Yeah, just wear the gold helmet.
Yeah, the black. I'm glad you brought that up. The,
See, I
the
didn't-
white helmet is
I didn't
kind
mind
of
what
cool.
they wore against North Dakota State. I
just
thought
think
that was okay.
I think they've taken a
Yeah.
nice thing and they've messed with it.
I don't mind when they've done the white helmet before in years past with the alternative look. Now I know they did it under Prime as well, but gold or white, man, the black one's weird.
You know what? During in the last year and one game, they haven't worn very often what we consider the traditional
No.
CU
Yeah,
uniform.
the black and gold with
Yeah.
the
So
gold helmet.
look
Yeah.
at
Now,
what
that
they
is a
wore,
good look, but I didn't mind the black.
what they
Oh,
wore
I'm not a
in,
fan of the black
in
helmet.
2018 when they came here, which is just regular black pants with the white jersey and the gold helmet with the buffalo on the side. That's what they should wear.
Yep.
On Saturday. That's what it needs to look like.
I wish they would.
I was disappointed last year.
I wish
when
they'd go back to the old powder blues.
powder blues.
Oh, they used to be blue long time ago.
Back in the day when Ed Cunningham was there.
Yeah.
That's a great
It
college
was
football
pre-Mac
helmet.
era.
It's a great college football helmet. Now, what did they wear when Cody Hawkins got stomped into the earth?
They wore the all
That
white.
was the whites, yeah.
All white in the traditional Colorado helmet.
So the same one that I just said.
But white pants, yeah.
White pants. Got it. Oh man, what a day that
Cody
was.
Which in that game, a lot of people look at the Sioux pick six. I've known more people, friends of mine, that trying to have recollection of those games, think that the Alex Henry field goal, the 57-yarder, was the walk-off. Like the game was over.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, yeah, it kind of was. And then they were like, oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
Sioux had the pick six.
Yeah.
And you're like,
After
what is
that.
going on here?
Yeah, it's almost like that was a separate game.
That's right.
Because the place went nuts after Alex Henry hit the field goal.
I've never heard it louder in just a one pop than right then in that moment.
I mean, Greg's call on the radio was fantastic. He kind of got jumped on by his analyst, who got really excited.
Yeah,
That happened.
Saw him on Saturday. He was decked out in 1890 gear.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Good to see Maddie.
Mhm.
But people think that was the walk-off and the game ended.
Mhm.
And the place was still buzzing.
No, there was still
And
like
then
a minute
Sue is
left.
running down the sidelines with the football.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is going on?
What's he doing?
That picture where it looks like he's literally stepping on him.
Yeah. But I think he wanted to.
He runs him over without
Yeah.
any sort of. It's like a train.
In a
hitting-
way, I gave Hawkins credit for trying.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, he
you knew how
ran
that
in
was going to
his
go.
But-
vicinity.
But
at
what
least.
makes like moments of the Colorado-Nebraska game like spicy? Think of like some of the more iconic photos in Nebraska football history, and you're probably going to find them in a Nebraska-Colorado game. The Calvin Jones where he took off his helmet before he crossed the goal line in '92,
Mhm.
Yep.
and then he is running around the
Yeah.
field with his helmet off.
Yep.
When
Shador
they
showing his watch.
when they
That's true.
when they
Yep.
destroyed Coy Detmer.
Yes.
And then there's a picture in the 94 game, the 2-3 game. Eric Alford, former tight end, scores a touchdown, and he has his arms up in the air. And the old scoreboard in the North Stadium,
Yep.
that there was no Husker vision, and it was just Nebraska across the top.
It's just a
With-
little
yeah,
tiny scoreboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in the background, and it's like framed perfectly.
I got a couple more for you. 01 crying kid.
Yeah.
Restore the order. Like the
Yeah.
picture of who was it? One of the wide receivers holding up the Restore the Order t-shirt after the 05 game. And then on
Josh
that,
Brown being lifted up by his teammates in 2000 when he hit the game-winning field goal.
yes. Sue. So obviously all the stuff that happened with the Sue, pick six, but I think one of the most famous pictures of him is when he just spikes the ball into oblivion after, like, if you were standing up against that back wall in the north end zone, you would have been hit by, you would have been dead. You would have been killed by a ball. He just hammered that thing into the ground. So I'm looking at a picture right now where he's just about to rip it into the ground.
There's the
some great stuff.
The picture of Martinez when his leg gets bent around in the Colorado game in 18.
Yeah, and he's like screaming. Yeah, not good. Yep, classic moments. And this might be it for a while.
The TO with Ralphie coming at him.
Oh, pointing over there.
Clinton Childs is ready to go fight.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, remember you were asking about villains in this series too. Does anybody? Do we still put like Jacob Collier, who twisted Adrian Martinez's knee, cheap shot at his knee, I should say?
Yeah.
Is he considered to be? I mean, I know Colorado wasn't really.
I don't know that I point out like individual people in that. It's just
we were going over that earlier, and people letting people
I think
sound off.
So between 88 to 95, maybe even 96, every year both Colorado and Nebraska were ranked.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And like in
they were
6 of
national
those
championship
years,
contenders.
they were both in the top 10. I think that's when you had more guys. I mean, Colorado had so many dudes. That game in 94 was an NFL game.
Yep.
There were so many NFL guys playing on both sides, but there were so many good players and there were characters that you hated Bieniemy, you hated Darian Hagan, you hated like Chris Hudson, Rashawn Salam,
Michael Westbrook.
I would love to ask this question, like if we were, doing a simulcast on a Denver sports talk show, which would be kind of cool. What people out there, their biggest Nebraska villain is? T.O.? Because I think the biggest villain from the Nebraska standpoint in the history of Colorado football against Nebraska is Bill McCartney.
Yeah.
Would Colorado fans say T.O.?
Oh, yes, because he doubled and tripled. He was like no red. He did the whole no red.
Well, yeah, the Bill McCartney, though, because he was so outspoken. Like T.O. was very, what you kind of heard from Matt Rule is didn't really play into it. So I don't know.
Well, that's a fine institution.
I would assume.
Who do they hate? How could they hate our guys?
I'm trying to think who would have been the most boisterous in the whole thing, as opposed to guys that just went out and whooped up on him, like maybe the Calvin Jones helmet off thing.
There had to have been a moment where Nebraska won and really rubbed it in. Did that happen?
92. 52-7.
Yeah, the 52-7 game. So maybe
where every guy that was a black shirt that day got a piece of Detmer.
Yeah. Oh,
well,
and that was bad.
And then remember, Cordell Stewart always had trouble against Nebraska.
But when it's 52-7, you can't like pick out any individual person, right?
No, I think everybody got their shot.
Mm-hmm. Is Charlie McBride the guy?
Maybe.
I mean, not even like Tommy Frazier. Like, there's nothing that stands out.
Yeah, no one just.
Let us know, Buffs.
So
fans.
I think it's T.O.
Sound off in the comments. Like and subscribe too.
Or
you're all on YouTube.
You can tell the age of the Colorado fan if we ask him that question. If one says T.O. and the next says Matt Rule.
Yeah. What? I was just born 2 years ago.
He disrespected our guy. So I took a major offense to that.
It's great.
But that's what we miss in college athletics. Like you had individual player hate. Like people hated Bieniemy. They hated Hagan.
Mm-hmm.
You could just rattle off Colorado player after Colorado player in the 90s that you despised. Jeff Campbell, who in 88 had the punt return. Nebraska got screwed in that game.
Yeah. Didn't KP refer to Bieniemy as the enemy?
Yeah.
On the calls. Yeah.
Oh, so little backstory. Kent hated Colorado. And it
interesting.
So it was really cool because you had Larry Zimmer, the late Larry Zimmer, who was the voice of Colorado forever, legendary, super nice guy, and Kent both loved their schools.
Yeah.
But when Nebraska played Colorado, you would have thought that KP was playing because he was so fired up. He did call him the enemy, but the play in 95 to open up the game to Amon Green down the Colorado sideline.
Yeah.
Everybody in the program knew they were running that play, and T.O. had told the players all week long, that play's going to score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
If you run it correctly, it's going to score a touchdown. So when they run that play, and like Kent, without saying exactly what they're going to do, hinted at what the play, look out for Amon Green, Gary. Saddlemeyer. They throw the pass, and Amon houses it, and Kent is going nuts. So the Colorado booth was right next to the Nebraska
Pounding
booth.
on the window.
He's punching the wall because the Colorado guys are on the other side.
I love that.
He was going nuts. And like the window was open. And I remember Kent leaned out and he was hollering about Nebraska scoring a touchdown.
That's awesome. That's so good.
All the days of Richard Pitino of sit down, Dick.
That reminds me of the time when, we haven't heard this in a while where people in the athletic director's suite down the way will be making boisterous noises
from the away. Yeah, from the away team. Sometimes you'd hear them as well,
or you could hear the home team sometimes.
Yep.
If you're at a road game,
getting really into it.
Oh no! Thanks, Bill Moose.
All right. Didn't someone say something to Moose that you can be heard Like after that
did they?
incident.
Oh, really?
Well,
Yeah.
that was quoted in many, many stories after that. What is it, Minnesota game? Right?
One final note, because you guys like some press box humor.
Yes.
So George Darlington,
Yes,
who
he's back.
told me on
folks.
Saturday he's 85.
Wow.
He's still getting around well. His voice is strong, but George sits away from the regular media in the press box, but he's got no filter.
He does not.
And so there was a time during the previous era where they messed up on special teams, and he said out loud while the press box was silent, "That'll get you fired."
And then people look around and they laugh and they look at George, and George does not do or say anything.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, I stand by that."
So
What are
he
you laughing
was-
at?
He was like, he was all
He's
in.
feeling himself?
He liked what he saw.
I saw George at a practice, and he was out. He was talking about how the media is so bad to the media. It was awesome.
So his complaint to me, he goes, you don't understand. And I've known Coach Darlington for 25, 30 years. I said, what do you mean? And he goes, you guys never give me any credit for Dylan. And I'm like, what? In my head. And he goes, if I wouldn't have gone to Hawaii and recruited his dad, he goes, you wouldn't have had Dylan.
Nice,
Okay,
coach.
I understand.
Nice,
Okay,
coach.
he's got a legitimate beef there. Okay.
So I was like, okay, I'll
Assist.
mention it.
Yeah,
Give it to him.
So,
All right.
So if Dylan has a good game, we'll start with
Thank
George
you,
Darlington.
George. Pat him on the back when you see him up there on Saturday. Enjoy your corn.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
How is it?
I haven't had this batch yet,
Uh-huh.
but it's prime territory right now.
I see what you did.
Oh,
there.
I can't do that.
Now, do your grandparents have a roadside stand or?
No, they just give it to the family. If they have any extra, they might, give it to a stand or sell it to a stand or something.
Was
like
this
that.
a good year for corn?
I think they did have a pretty good year. Like most of what my grandpa has is, field corn, whatever. But he takes a couple plots out and does sweet corn just for family and
That's cool.
whoever else wants
Yeah.
it. And so you go out there, you pick it, and then all of a sudden 16, 20 of the zone guys get corn.
I look forward to enjoying it. Thank them for me.
Indeed. Will do.
And we'll get the meme from Colorado fans about the kid that likes corn.
Yep.
That's right. I should have worn my corn hat today. My corn head. All right. See you guys later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, good. That's the crossover powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
Good morning and welcome in. Happy Tuesday. It's the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer and Josh Hodson back with you. Josh, welcome back from the back roads of Georgia.
Thank you.
Josh,
Pleasure to be here.
Josh is full of boiled peanuts. He didn't bring any for us, though. Sad.
I brought no boiled peanuts.
And last time I went to a Buc-ee's, I brought you a shirt. Where's mine?
I couldn't find one with the location.
I love those. I'd like to collect them all one day.
That's what I was looking for. They're
like the Monopoly pieces on McDonald's.
There was a Halloween Buc-ee's onesie that I saw, but I said they would never put their beautiful child in such a thing. So I opted not to.
I don't know. I not that this is bad. My baby's already worn a 1620 The Baby. I thought that was kind of cool, actually.
Good bit.
And it's a thing where people around, they know that you've had a kid, so they just start sending you onesies that they think would be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's happened a couple times.
Sure.
But yeah, my wife definitely does have a very specific taste on how she'd like to dress our daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
Maybe you made the right choice there.
I respect it.
Welcome to the show. Happy Tuesday. Nebraska won on Saturday, 40-7. We'll talk about some of the items for that, but obviously we're moving on. We're on to Colorado. Yeah, it was good. The offseason was long. The countdown to the first game is over. Glad that's over. Let's move on to the next thing. That's how football season goes sometimes. I have a few takeaways from obviously Saturday, and then we'll hear from Matt Rule. He had his press conference yesterday. He looked ahead a little bit. I also have a Big Ten report card. So in lieu of the overreaction thing, we're going to go through the entire gigantic Big Ten conference, which is now 18 teams deep.
People forget.
Each of them played. The Big Ten went 17-1 over the weekend.
Hello.
17-1.
Thanks,
Minnesota. Yeah, tough. And they had that one in the bag, too. Big Ten could have gone 18-0.
What a flex that would have been.
That would have been pretty cool. Now, they didn't really play anybody of note, with the exception, I guess, of USC, which notched a nice win last night against LSU.
I'm very mad.
Oh,
I'm Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly.
Look how mad I am.
He is one of the fakest people I've ever seen in my entire life. We have so much evidence to prove this now over time.
He's so performative in everything he does.
Yes. Dang it.
Oh, I'm just really burnt up about it.
Gotta get better at this. Shoot.
If only there was something I could do.
I saw it on a YouTube video once where this speech giver hammered the podium, and I liked it. It really drove the point home. Let's do that. All right, so we'll have our Big Ten report cards coming up during the show as well. Pay no attention to the fact that the Royals are canceled. Do not. Baseball's over.
Okay.
It's now football season.
We're in it.
And we don't have to talk about baseball anymore, pending if the Royals get hot again. You weren't here. I was having a bit of an emotional meltdown on Friday after learning that Vinny Pasquantino had broke his thumb and was out for the remainder of the year.
I saw that. I opted not to text you about it.
And thank you. And then they went on to lose 4 games to the Houston Astros over the weekend and then lost last night to Cleveland. So things are going really well.
Didn't get no hit that one night.
That's true. Almost won the game, but lost in painful fashion somehow still. Gets no hit through 7, comes back to tie the game, and then gets walked off. That's pretty bad. That doesn't make you feel good. All right. So no takes on the Royals today.
None.
We'll be joined by Allan Bell at the bottom of the hour, bottom of the 11 o'clock hour, because week 1 of the NFL is this week. Yeah, we are in it. We are all the way in it. There is an NFL game in 2 days.
That's right. Today's Tuesday, people.
Like 55 hours, something like that. I mean, pretty good stuff.
Jacob, it's such a big deal. We're going to have it on 2 of our stations.
Are we?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Chiefs.
Chiefs coverage with Mitch over on the coil.
We love the Chiefs.
And right here on 1620 The Zone, Westwood One.
And you get to see Big Raiola play. Because
that's right.
Because he'll get to play, and we'll get to watch that.
You think they'll put him in?
They're going to put him in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're going to put him in. So we'll have Allan coming up at the bottom of the 11 o'clock hour. Jacob Bigelow will join us at 1. We'll talk about some football over the weekend with him. That's the lineup, powered by the referees, John Higgins, Weather Guard. Want to hear from you guys? 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees The Source hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show at Connor Happer. On the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed, email Connor or Josh O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. Many people, by the way, also hello to the YouTubers, where we do get a comment, Star Wars Fiend. So I got chirped at for a lot of my preseason takes. We should have canceled the last week of the preseason because that's when I really got sideways on some of the things that I said. All right. So I got lit up in the fourth quarter of that football game on Saturday, Josh.
Because Heine played.
I was getting lit. I was like, all right, come on. Are we really keeping receipts on this? All of a sudden, my tweets just got lit up.
It was your confidence.
I know.
I
do have to.
It wasn't just, hey, guys, I don't think he's going to play. It was, no snaps.
Well, okay. That's fair. So all of a sudden I'm getting lit up on Saturday night, as Nebraska's in a nice, comfortable, happy win for the first time in a long time. Here's Star Wars Fiend. Are we going to talk about how on Friday Connor was so wrong about HH not seeing any snaps in game one? It would make zero sense to risk Dylan Raiola to a stupid injury up 40-7 for more reps. Just saying, Connor. Okay, so let me be clear. Yes, I missed on that. I missed on how that would go. And I think the focal point of where I missed was that I didn't think it would go that smooth. That's something I want to talk about today. I did not plan or prepare for a world where Nebraska would have their starters out by the middle of the third quarter. I didn't.
Cashed them in early.
Yeah, I did not plan for that. I did not prepare for that. I didn't think it would look that clean. I didn't think it would look that smooth. We'll go through the snap counts a little bit later on because there's a couple fun games I want to play in there. Nebraska defended 50 plays on Saturday, and there was a couple guys in the secondary who played 37. Nebraska's stud defensive lineman, Ty Robinson, played 21 plays and still made an impact. Nash Hutmaker played 15 plays and still made an impact. Jamari Butler played 16 plays and still made an impact. And, so Nebraska had turned that key pretty early to like, all right, let's get some guys in this game and let's figure out where to go from here. It was Heinrich Harburg just straight up as the number. I just didn't think there was going to be an opportunity for Nebraska to do much of that. And I was definitely, most certainly wrong about that. That's a big whiff by me. And so you could stop telling me about it. I was very wrong.
You would like us to stop.
You can if you'd like to. You can if you'd like. I know. It's just kidding. I don't view it to be that big of a deal. I was wrong.
You give many takes.
Yes.
And sometimes they don't pan out.
No.
You put yourself out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought Nebraska, like I said, we gave our predictions. I thought I picked UTEP to cover. I thought Nebraska would win comfortably, but not super comfortably. 30-13 is what I picked. I just thought Dylan Raiola would play all the plays on Saturday.
Seems I had it closer to right than you.
Josh, you have gotten off to another nice starting picks this year.
38-7 is what I said, I believe. You can double check that if you'd like.
Would you like to know how the first week of picks 2024 went?
I would. I did the math on the plane, and it went well for me. I don't know what you picked. I didn't listen.
You're 4-2.
Respectable, not great. Respectable.
1-5 for Connor Happer. I picked a lot of dogs.
Wow,
a lot of dogs this weekend.
Okay,
and in the big games, at least, they did not come through for me, especially Florida. What the hell was I doing?
You bought into Florida?
I didn't buy into Florida. I just picked them. Okay,
Connor.
I didn't buy in. I just picked them. It was just a thing. All right.
Connor, they're going to win 4 games and fire their
If
coach.
I buy a pack of gum, am I into extra? No, I just want a gum. I just want a piece of gum.
Okay, that's
all
an
right.
interesting question.
Am I into 5? No, I just want a piece of gum.
Gums have stupid names.
I know, seriously. Jack John says you're not allowed to be wrong. You work in radio. You cannot miss. You're fired. You fired.
Some of us don't miss.
Some. Chris in South Carolina. Connor, you were wrong. Indeed, I was wrong. Also, Aaron has another thing that I was wrong about. Connor, also, can we admit that you, mostly of good takes, thank you, Aaron, was completely wrong about DJ Uyunglele being good.
Yeah.
Okay, now hang on.
Now, I thought about that last night quite a bit.
Now hang on. I'm not like, I was defending him in the sense of I didn't think they allowed him to really do much. I wasn't like, you got to let DJ you cook, like I wasn't doing that. All right. So let's be clear about that. But yes, I will take ownership for this one as well, because it appears as if the reason they did not let him throw the ball forward last week is because he sucks at it horribly. He is bad.
Or
Florida State is horrible. And yes, I was wrong about that too.
When he does manage to really laser it on in there, it hits his receivers dead ass in the hands and falls to the turf.
It was seriously either one or the other. It was like right at him or 10 feet over their head. They are a disaster.
Imagine being 0-2 in conference.
Yeah.
And wanting out.
Once again, never play in Ireland. Never, ever, ever.
Great take.
We are off and running on a Tuesday. Allan Bell will join us at the bottom of the hour. We'll have thoughts coming. Big picture thoughts, I guess, coming back from the game. I asked this at the end of the postgame show, at the end of Big Red Overreaction. By the way, thank you for joining us on Saturday night.
You're welcome.
And I will ask it here. When was the last time you liked your team? And do you like them now? It's very possible that you don't. I get the sense that many do. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He has the latest sports news, expert analysis, award-winning commentary, and a pocket full of cabbage.
Can you give us an indication why?
Just in case there's a sauerkraut emergency.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Connor Happer, Josh Hudson with you here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Coming up in a couple minutes, we will detail the fact that Nebraska played 107 players on Saturday.
Sounds like a lot.
Got a couple stats inside of that stat that I want to get out there. Also, I'd like to play a little game as well.
Ooh.
Because there were at least 7 to 10 people who played in that. And I'm pretty, I know what's going on, right? I know who's on that roster. There were 7 to 10 people who played in a football game for Nebraska on Saturday. I had never heard of them before. Never heard the name. Did not know that they played football. Did not know that they existed. Sorry, but that happened. So we'll play a little game. Is this person a person who played against UTEP or just a made-up name? Real or fake? We'll do that coming up here in just a couple minutes. All right, big picture from Saturday. Obviously, at the 40-7 win, Dylan Raiola was what, Josh? Dylan Raiola was blank on Saturday.
Unbothered is what I wrote in my notes.
Good one. Yeah, he was he was extremely competent.
Mm-hmm.
At his best, he flashed, what that future, it's like, wow, I just saw my future flash before my eyes. He made some really nice throws and some good reads, and has the ability to kind of squeeze the ball into tight places. He did in the keys on Friday. I said, hey, I want to see him really rip a couple. And he did. I like that he really rode that line of, I'm not afraid to take chances, but I'm not going to put the ball in harm's way too much. He probably could have thrown an interception in that game. He put the ball in harm's way maybe twice. I will take that on 28 throws or 24 throws, whatever, 27 throws on Saturday. I'll take it. And then what he gives you as far as the composure is concerned, the ability to do the simple things, to make checks, to make reads, to manipulate defenders with his eyes. It's just Nebraska has had such a difficult time getting quarterbacks to do what Dylan Raiola approaches as very basic quarterback skills, right? It is
the timer in your head.
Yeah. You wonder why Nebraska is not why it looks so hard for them to do the things that they've, done over the last couple of years. Watch Dylan Raiola just complete what looks like an easy pass down the sideline to Isaiah Nair, right? Nair goes and makes a play, but Raiola not only puts it in the right spot, it's not just the throw, it's what he does before the throw. It's how he moves people, and it's how, the timing, the internal clock, all of that stuff is putting him in position to be able to make the throw. So not only can he put himself in position to make the throw, he can make the throw. That's in his first game. It's against UTEP, but that's in his first game. This is by far the most advanced quarterback that Nebraska has ever seen. I mean, by far.
How many
for a freshman
Nebraska broadcasts have we really got into the nuts and bolts of arm slot, arm angle, and rubber bandness?
He's doing all these extra things that I just, it's part of the reason why I didn't think it would be all that clean on Saturday, just because he's a freshman, he's in his first game, there's all these emotions, and yet he looked like the calm one. Not that Nebraska was not calm during the game, he looked like the one he led the team out of the tunnel, and you could see him. I like how they really highlighted this, by the way. Benetti and Brock Heward, very, very good as usual.
Very good.
And as they come out on the field for the first time on offense, it's like, okay, one more deep breath. And you can literally see him taking that breath. And he goes out there and he's like, okay, let's go. And makes a couple things happen on the first possession. And Nebraska drives all the way down for a touchdown. He passed every test you could have ever gave him on Saturday. It was really good. And he was out by the middle of the third quarter. And that's what we got. Nebraska's offense in general was just about perfect. I mean, with the exception of a Dante Dowdell fumble. We can talk about the running game a little bit later in the show and what the running backs look like. But I wanted to go big picture here in this first segment. I had to get the Dylon takes out because I know that's part of what you guys are here for.
That's what you come here for. And we'd like to give it to you.
I think my overarching takeaway from Saturday was this. I think that people like this team. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about the fans. There was one slight moment on Saturday of, oh God, it's 7-7. We're getting beat by UTEP and, Malcolm Hard Sox getting beat on the edge, whatever. We're not going to play with our food again, really. Are we? Are we really going to do this? And then it was gone. And they overcame that. And Nebraska, so you fast forward that idea kind of to this week against Colorado, and Nebraska's had these games that were built up to be measuring stick games over the year. There's been a lot of them. And Nebraska's pretty routinely fallen short in those games. And I think going into those games, there was always this feeling of, if this is a measuring stick game, I don't really want to know what the result is. I truly don't want to know what the result is, because you knew that the answer wasn't a good one. And now I think that going into this particular measuring stick game, which Matt Rule would disagree that it is a measuring stick game. It's not how he views things. We'll talk about that later. But I do think there's this real thought from the fan base and probably from the team as well, that people are confident that they can go into this test. They are prepared for it. And it's not just in the result that in the win versus loss. It's like, can we feel good about the product coming out of it? Obviously, you're going to feel horrible if they lose the game. It does indeed matter in this situation. But I think about, and so I asked the question out loud on Saturday night during Big Red Overreaction, when's the last time you felt good about this team? And I got a variety of different responses, and some people were like, well, what on days? And some people were saying the Taylor Martinez era, and maybe I'd hear you out on that one. The first one that came to my head, and I got this response once or twice, I think. The first time that came to my head was going into and during that Michigan game in 2021. I was pretty convinced, even though that they had lost to start the season and it was ugly, and that they had kind of responded. They had the game against Oklahoma that was good, and then they had a couple nice games. They're coming off of the gigantic blowout against Northwestern, right? I'm like, I think this team is good. I think they are finally ready to stand up and take their best shot. Are you in a position are you coming from a position of strength? Are you ready to shoot your best shot? Nebraska going into this game is ready to take their best punch. Ready to punch their best, whatever that might be. And I think the fans feel that. I could feel that watching on TV on Saturday. They're confident in this team. They like this team. I can't remember too many times over the last several years where fans were like, damn, I like this team. I can identify with this team. I'm confident in this team. And whatever the result may be, I can live with it because I like them so much. And there's something about this program, and as much as the conversation is about Dylan Raiola and how retooled the offense is, and trust me, we're going to talk about it. We got plenty of time to. But there's something about this program in defense. There is nothing like being good at defense. There is nothing like being good at defense. And Matt Rule has said that over and over again. He said, we're going to be a defensive-oriented program. That's what we're going to be about here. And man, the confidence that you feel putting that defense on the field, especially when they're not put in bad positions, is it just reverberates all the way throughout the fan base. You can feel that. There's nothing like being good at defense. It's amazing. It's in Nebraska, make no mistake about it, has a very, very, very good defense. Because and so it's not just the top group. Once again, I just quoted some numbers, and we'll have some a little bit later on too. But like defensively, your three dudes on the defensive line, Ty Robinson played, what did I say, 21 plays. Ty Robinson played 21 plays. Nash Hutmaker played 15 plays. And Jamari Butler played 16 plays. Those are your studs in the middle. They played basically 30% of the game on Saturday. Now it's against UTEP and you're blowing them out, but think about that. Nebraska's created this culture and this identity where those guys go into the game and it's really good and they set the tone, they get the safety, after it's 7-7. And by the end of the second quarter, you're mixing some new guys in there, and obviously by the third and fourth quarter, you're just mixing scout teamers in there to get a chance to play. But you know what happens when they go out there? It doesn't get messy. It doesn't get, it doesn't leave UTEP the opportunity to get a little loose and start throwing the football around and grabbing some cheap yards, because when they take the field, they have to own whatever points get scored on them. Nebraska's allowed 7 points today. We're not allowing any more than 7 points today. And you feel like that is in your grasp. That is within your reach. I was kind of mad when Nebraska got a touchdown let up on them because I thought Nebraska was going to have a real opportunity to shut them out on Saturday. And I imagine the defense felt the same way. And so walking on that field, that defense walking on that field with the confidence that they have right now, that's a great thing for this program.
When was the last time we had just a nice, easy, taking care of business kind of game where it didn't turn into, there was about 10 minutes there where it was a little hairy. The North Dakota last year comes to mind as one of those, what's happening here kind of games. This was not it over the weekend. This was very much, that's what it's supposed to look like. That's what competency looks like.
And the offense, imagine the confidence that it gives your offense. I mean, we know that the offense is good. They could, they were pretty clean and really, really good on Saturday. Ended up scoring 40 points, obviously. But they could have, the confidence that they get from the fact that they know that their defense isn't going to allow anything. I mean, think about that going into, compare that to last year, Colorado, right? I think probably by then in game 2 last year, Nebraska felt like their defense was pretty okay as well. And the offense wasn't able to hold up their end of the bargain. And it was like, when's this, the dam's going to break here? It's just a matter of when. And sure enough, it did. Now Nebraska has an offense where they can really hold that dam, right? And they help out the defense instead of being almost a detriment to it. It's a good setup for Saturday. But once again, my overwhelming feeling watching that game was, oh boy, what are we dealing with here? People like this team. People are moving in the right direction here. And they like this team. Matt Rule tried to tell you all summer long. He took a little bit of a victory lap after the game on Saturday, too. He said, he felt like he was kind of fired up there. He was trying to tell people, do you believe me? Do you believe?
Do you
believe?
What an interesting question to ask.
Yeah. So, obviously a ton to like. We'll dive into a few of the things that Matt Rule had to say yesterday at his press conference. But coming back, speaking of all the people that played, participation report. 107 players played. Let's come back. I want to share with you some names that I had never heard before. Coming back on 1620 The Zone. But first, a reminder from our friends at the FanDuel Sportsbook. It's finally here, NFL. Oh my goodness, the NFL is here. There is nothing like that first NFL Sunday. Just imagine sitting there on your couch like you're going to be anyway, and you're going to have the ability to watch all of the games right at your fingertips. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with your YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday out-of-market game, afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. FanDuel.com/Happer. Get over there. FanDuel.com/Happer. Download America's #1 sportsbook. Once again, 3 weeks free of Sunday NFL Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. 21 and over, present in Iowa. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after the free trial. No refunds, terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF. Travis writes in on YouTube. How about Boom Sheeny with 2 solid punts, average 48 yards with 1 inside the 20? Travis is saying the boom is back in Boom Sheeny, calling that one. Potential NIL opportunity with the Costco guys.
Oh, yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Chicken bakes, double chunk chocolate cookies. Josh, you don't even probably get what I'm talking about.
I don't, but I love the enthusiasm.
You do? So when I say out loud, double chunk chocolate cookie, you don't know what I'm talking about?
Not a clue, no.
Interesting. Boom, boom, boom. So you've never seen that little fat kid on the internet?
I have seen many a fat kid on the internet, but not that particular.
There's 2 little fat kids. So there's that guy. There's Big Justice, Costco guy. He loves the chicken bakes.
I'm vaguely familiar with the name Big Justice.
Boom. And then there's the Rizzler, also a little fat kid, and he goes like this all the time.
And Baby Gronk called one of these individuals out.
Baby Gronk is probably also a little fat kid on the internet.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that going around right now. So there you go. Maybe we can cameo the Costco guys and say, Brian, boom, Sheeny. That pump was as good as a chicken bake.
Oh my gosh, the
double chunk chocolate cookie.
The Rizzler is on Cameo.
The Rizzler is
$150.
That seems like a lot. Maybe Nebraska can do it. Put it on the video board.
He'll give you a pep talk.
Yeah. You don't need to go through Cameo. Do something else. All right, here's some stats from Saturday. Obviously, there was the good stuff like Dylan Raiola throwing for 238 yards, Nebraska running for 223 with their over 200 with their 4 running backs.
I mean, that was the impressive part to me.
Indeed.
Didn't think it would look that great.
It was very good. How about some other stats for you?
Okay.
All right. So Nebraska played 107 players on Saturday, which is more than a few towns in the state of Nebraska. So that's good. We were trying to research that during Big Red Overreaction. They played 49 players on offense and 44 players on defense. Here's some numbers for you. 12 different people got a rep at wide receiver. 12.
Wow.
9 different people got a tight end rep. 17 people got an offensive line rep. And 9 different people got a running back rep. 8 of them got carries. 8 different running backs got carries. It was amazing. Here are some names. Now, Josh, this is where the game comes in. Here are some names of people who may have played for Nebraska on Saturday or may not be real people at all. May just be made up names.
Okay.
You tell me, because I noticed there was probably 7 to 10 guys who I had never, ever heard of before. And like I said, I pay attention to this stuff. I know who the names are. I know who the walk-ons are in the area. These people, never seen their names in my life. So I apologize in advance to these people. Or maybe they're fake.
Okay.
It's up to Josh.
A lot of pressure. This is a great opportunity for the audience to laugh at me.
Right. Danny King. Was Danny King a Nebraska football player or fake?
I'm going to go real. I'm going to go that's a real human being.
It is. It is. Danny King was real. Oh, he's sizzling. Is this steak or fake?
Steak or fake.
Oh, okay, good. Nice job.
I've still got the sound for it.
Rowdy Bauer. Rowdy Bauer. Was Rowdy Bauer a Husker or was he a fake person?
I feel like if there was a person named Rowdy on that team, we would have heard about it. I'm saying fake.
You would be wrong.
You are fake news.
You are fake news, Josh.
Man.
He is real. So sizzle that up. Indeed. So yeah, Rowdy Bauer played for Nebraska. All right. Let's go here. Dylan Parrott. Dylan Parrott. Is Dylan Parrott real or did he play for Nebraska on Saturday against UTEP?
We have a Dylan already. He's working out quite well for us. This is fake.
Wrong.
You are fake news.
Wrong, Josh. That's a real person. He played for Nebraska on Saturday.
There's a Dylan Parrott?
Dylan Parrott. Yep, indeed.
Get that man an NIL deal with a bird store.
Get him an NIL deal with a bird store. Indeed. Leslie Black. Leslie Black. Did Leslie Black play for Nebraska on Saturday, or is he made up?
I will say fake. I will say real. I'm sorry, real.
It is real.
person.
That Leslie Black is real. Leslie Black played for Nebraska on Saturday. All right. Good one, Josh. So what are you, 2 for 4 now?
I think so.
Noah Bustard. Noah Bustard.
Bustard?
Bustard, like mustard with a B.
I gotta go fake. It sounds fake.
Wrong.
You are fake news.
Noah Bustard played for Nebraska on Saturday.
This is really hard.
It is, but you should be picking up on the theme by now.
I am.
Okay, good. Kenneth Williams. Kenneth Williams.
Oh, that's a person.
That is a person, but are they real? And did they play for Nebraska on Saturday?
That's a real human being.
Yeah. Never heard of Kenneth before in my life. I believe
What's
that
the
would be a football
frequency?
player. What's the frequency?
Kenneth.
A lot of Kenneths out there.
It's an REM song.
Oh.
I'm of music.
Oh, that was an REM reference. I didn't even get it. Sorry, it went right over my head. How about potentially Rowdy Bauer's brother, Jacob Bauer? Did Nebraska play a player named Jacob Bauer on Saturday?
I think they did.
Yeah, they did. Why else would I say that? That's right, Josh. All of those people played for Nebraska. I didn't make up any names in that category.
Not a one.
Nope. I did make up some fake names, but then I decided that would be a better idea. Would you like to hear the names that I made up?
Yes, I would.
Micah Johnson, Carson Moore, needed a guy named Carson, Lance Brinkley, Madison Looters, and Michael Brantley, who is just a former Cleveland Guardian.
I would have said yes to all of those. A lot of those sound more real than.
Yeah, they do. They do. I tried to make them like real names. Mustache Adam writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Mustache.
I love that we're having a segment like this after a game instead of freaking out about who knows what.
Uh-huh.
That was totally the deal on Saturday. Like it was the happiest big red overreaction I've ever done. I don't think there was any dissension. Hell, I thought people were going to start calling in about how they couldn't get their runs as their Mountain Dew, and I had to poke old man Doug at the end of the show. I said he called in, and I said, Doug, any thoughts on the cashless? And then he had some, of course. He didn't seem like it was that big of an. It didn't seem like it was that big of an issue to him. So I don't know, man.
My mom attended the game. She said,
yeah,
it worked. It was fine.
I'm not. I wasn't really prepared to do that show. I thought there was going to be something, something that we were going to be hyper focused on.
There wasn't the stray guy that called in and said it should have been 70.
No. But you could go anywhere. That's the thing about that game. Like you could have gone anywhere, wherever you want to nitpick and say, oh yeah, that wasn't that was pretty good. I guess the only thing was people called in and they still wanted to talk about Turner Corcoran. And I go, I just really think you're trying to do something here that's not there. I don't think Turner Corcoran is bad. He didn't obviously get killed on anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Ben Hart committed but people want to call in and they want to talk about the offensive line. And I can't argue with them because I don't watch the stupid offensive line during the game. Oh, this guy got killed. It's never it's not obvious to me when that happens. And I was looking at the Pro Football Focus grades. I know they're not everything, but it seemed to grade out pretty fine. So I just think you're trying to make something happen that's not there at this point. Old narrative, washed narrative at this point. So yeah, it was pretty overwhelmingly positive. Speaking of, we'll get to some things from Matt Rule. We'll kind of dial ahead to Colorado week coming up in the noon hour, but let's have a chat with Allan Bell coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Allan Bell, the AB3 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we got week 1 of the NFL. I just opened up my gambling side of choice, the FanDuel Sportsbook, of course, and it's got everything for week 1. People have got their picks. Oh, this is beautiful. Allan Bell joins us now from the AB3, driving the line around the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. AB, hello. Happy Merry Christmas, I guess I should say.
Merry Christmas to you and to all a good day, I guess. All right, how we doing, man? You doing all right, bud?
We're doing fantastic. I'll tell you what. So, Tennessee handshake with Nebraska over the weekend. Tennessee, it's a very smart program, scheduled a nobody in week 1 and blew them the hell out. Nebraska, scheduled a nobody in week 1, blew them the hell out. I don't know why everybody doesn't do this. It's a great idea, and Florida State should feel ashamed of themselves for having to do what they have done over the last 2 weeks.
Ashamed of themselves. Absolutely. Yes. Those folks.
Even though those are both conference games and they can't really help it. So, yeah.
That's true. Although, I'll say, look, I've always said, those folks over Nebraska, smart, beautiful, good-looking people. They know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you this, like, you're right. Like, you bring up a good point in the fact that now that we're in the transfer portal era, right? Like, it is going to take time for these players to fully, like, work with each other. Like, you basically have 90 people on 1-year contracts. You know what I mean? So it's like, I honestly think, like, there's no way I'm doing one of these big opening season kickoff games. No. Like, this is almost like NFL preseason is how they need to approach it, if you ask me.
Totally. I said it like multiple times over the weekend as I watched these teams just struggle and struggle and struggle. Like, what's the upside here? Now, on the other hand, you could say, well, you know what? There's going to be 12 teams who make the playoff, and if we lose to another ranked team in week 1, then you know what's is the downside really that far down? Yeah, but you're minimizing your margin for error even further. I'd rather win a game against a nobody, get some feet underneath me, rather than be in a dogfight and try and just figure stuff out in the first week against a team either with a pulse or, you know, with who's really good.
Yeah, I mean, completely agree. Look, I'm not against the big games. Like, we do need them, or else the first week is going to be boring. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I'm with you. Like, I would rather have a game like that, pay the money to the team for them to come and use it, you know, like you said, man, to get your feet, you know, on the ground. And let me also say this, like, yeah, like, you're not wrong in what you said, like, you know, the thought process of some of these schools, like, well, it's okay, like, if we lose. And yeah, like, I don't disagree with that at all. But you know what? Like, the conference play is going to be tough enough. Like, we don't need to add anything further. Like, I just want to start, understand what we have, move to the next week, and it, you know, increases from there. I'm with you, man. It might be antiquated thinking, but I actually think that it's going to be the new norm, and I think schools are going to be smart to do it.
You're an SEC country, so what's first of all, the entire state of Florida must be in big trouble right now. Florida State is really having it rough. I was watching some War Chant post-game show on YouTube last night and really enjoying myself. Florida had a very bad start, and then, you know, LSU, they cannot like their coach right now. He's once again kind of a laughing stock of college football, just with how weird he is and how he reacts to things. What's the best thing you've seen from losing SEC fan base this weekend?
Oh, the best part is exactly that. Because let me tell you, I've done a lot of losing over the years, and I don't have any feelings for any of them.
Exactly.
They can take it. Yeah, they can take it, deal with it. I don't really care on that one. But, you know, like, speaking about the teams, right? So, like, Florida, okay. I don't know. Did Billy Napier do anything this offseason other than get a haircut? I mean, that's it. Like, he's got a great fade. He looks like he gets it done every day. But other than that, I mean, it's the exact same Florida. And it's like, dude, how long are we going to go with the Graham Mertz? He couldn't do it last year. You've got a quarterback in Florida who was too slow for Wisconsin. and you think that that's going to work. Like, I don't know what we're doing there. And
they have a really highly rated quarterback sitting there behind him. He's going to have to, they're going to have to pull that trigger.
Oh, yeah. Like, because look, Billy Napier is absolutely on the chopping block. So, like, dude, all bets are off. And you're going to, let me also say this, dude, in the NIL era, like boosters and like fans, like they're going to have way more power than people think. When they're calling for a backup quarterback, coaches are going to have to listen a little bit, man. Florida State, that's just a disaster. Like, I think that they know that DJ, you can't play. The team, look at them. Like, I don't like. It's gone. Like, the season's over, and now you have to worry about this team quitting. Honestly, like, I don't know.
Definitely.
Like this, yeah. Like this game last night. There's no reason that you weren't ready to go after the first week. There's no reason. It's bad. And then LSU, I mean, you know, they're just not. They just don't have the talent that they once did. Like, you see them on the offensive defensive line. Like, it's rare you see LSU get whooped from their defensive line, but they did. I think their quarterback Nussmeier's all right. He's not dynamic, but he's okay. They just need a little bit of help. But Florida and Florida State are
trouble.
Panic mode.
Yeah.
Panic.
Turning ahead to the NFL. So what have we, just overall, as we start on Thursday night, but just overall, whether you look at the slate or not, what have we learned about week one going? I remember that there was these lessons last year. We're like, hey, we gotta note that for week one next year. And here we are in early September of 2024, and I have no notes. I have no strategies. Allan, please tell me what the overarching themes of week one are going to be.
Yep. All right. So first off, interception. All right. Bet those. You're going to see him a lot, even from good quarterbacks, right? Like, I think Patrick Mahomes, one interception, minus 120 against the Ravens. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Like, and that's nothing against the Chiefs. Like, they're the, two-time Super Bowl champions. But I think the Ravens really need this game. And I think Kansas City's like, all right, we'll see. It's game one. But that one, number 2, points. Take a look back at the last couple of years. Because in the offseason, college defense is always ahead of the offense, right? You only have so much time that you can work. Well, in the NFL, it's different because defense needs somebody to practice against. Offense, the quarterbacks and wide receivers, they can go out and throw all the time, anytime that they want. You know what I mean? And they do. So you see that offenses are actually clicking faster than the defenses are. So you see point totals go up. And then the last thing, field goal kickers. All right? Not all of them, but you have teams that have solidified kickers that you can trust. All right? They will put it in the air because coaches don't really mess around. They don't go for it on fourth down. In week one, they stick to the script, man. So, like, I think a great kicker is Cairo Santos for the Bears because Caleb Williams is going to drive the ball. He might not get a touchdown every drive, but they'll get it down there. You know what I mean? To the 25 to the 30, and the Titans will give up field goals all day long. So, especially with a brand new coaching staff. So, yeah, man, interceptions, points, good field goal kickers, they'll come through.
Any lines that stink to you from week one? I'm looking at, I'm looking at Monday night actually, and 49ers, we've talked about it as kind of a bad vibes team. People like the Jets. That's a 4.5 point spread right now in favor of San Francisco. Pretty much everything else is, all of them are pretty tight here for week one. Anything that stinks to you?
They are, right? All right. So I think, Texans and Colts, 2.5 is a dangerous line here because I don't know what's going to happen in this game. It's a division game. Like, there's risk all over the board in regards to this one. All right. You look at the Falcons getting 3 at home against the Steelers. Yeah, like, it makes sense. But then I think about it and I'm like, well, do I trust the Falcons yet? Like, I think that I will, but I just don't know. And like Russell Wilson with the Steelers, he might have one good game and this could be it, right? It could be pretty low scoring as well. That one. And then, you look across like the Cowboys and the Browns, man, 2.5 right under a field goal. Ooh, I think everybody's going to bet the Cowboys, and I'm with the Browns. I think the Browns are going to do just this one. I think the Cowboys figure this thing out, and I think they'll be better than people give them credit for. But I think in week one, the Browns have been very quiet.
Yeah.
And it's been the opposite for Dallas. Like, I'm only playing the number in this one because I think Dallas ultimately is a better team. But in week one, I think that the Browns, especially at home,
You're right.
be a nice little
Yeah,
surprise.
the public will certainly be all over the Cowboys getting 2.5 on the road in that one. I cannot wait for week one of the NFL. I'm going to be locked in on Sunday, Thursday, Friday, and then a full college football day and Saturday. Allan, I'm sure you will be. Watch NBC on Saturday night with Nebraska and Colorado. It's you want to see Memorial Stadium like you in rare form. This would be a great introduction. Nebraska's bringing in a lot of recruits. Like this will be a pretty unique environment. So I would encourage you to watch it on Saturday night.
Oh, I'll be all over that. I cannot wait. Go Big Red. Handle business. Like, I'll be decked out, dude, in Cornhusker gear. I'm ready to go on that one.
They are they still 7.5 point favorites? I think I saw it at 6.5 and maybe went back down yesterday. Let me check here real quick.
I'd take them way, like,
7.5.
They hammer. 7.5. I'll take that right now. I think that they hammer down on Colorado. That's a great spot. You get some good recruiting done on that one, buddy. Like that's a big time game. I'm all for it on that one.
AB, appreciate it as always. Can't wait to recap week one with you next week, and we'll talk to you then.
Look forward to it, buddy. Y'all be good. Thank you.
Allan Bell. You can get. I mean, he's doing he's probably doing 9 podcasts a day talking about what the days of finding weird random baseball things to bet on are over.
Not doing Furbies anymore. Nerfies.
Furbies? No Furbies. Never any Furbies. That's for sure. Did you say? But I don't know if we'll have much of a chance to talk about this today. But I just mentioned the recruiting piece for Nebraska. So, Dawson Merritt, who committed to Alabama, decided he'd like to go to the game this weekend.
Like to check it out. Like to see what's going on over there.
Cortez Mills, I believe he committed to Oklahoma. He was a big time Nebraska recruit. Maybe he's uncommitted still. Yes, he's committed to Oklahoma at the moment. He has also decided he'd like to check out the game this weekend.
There are many people who will be checking out the game. I saw a list. Somebody made up a nice little graphic with everybody's name and stars on it. It's a very long list.
So people committed to other programs are saying, "We're going to check it out. We're going to see. We're going to see what happens." Is the AP poll out yet?
Coach's poll is out.
I don't care about the coaches
not much.
Poll. Don't even say
notice.
it. Don't even say it. How many votes will Nebraska get in the AP poll this week?
That's the one we care about, baby.
We'll find out probably in the next 10, 15 minutes. First, we'll come back with the odd news next on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
So much has happened since Josh and I last spoke. There was football games of note.
Many. I watched so many.
I did. I emceed my first volleyball game.
How'd it go? Big dub for the Blue Jays.
Many big dubs over the weekend for them. Perfect still at home.
That's
Big
right.
match coming up with USC on Thursday.
That's right. The USC.
Home of Allie Batenhorst.
That's right.
So I remember we were talking about Dwayne and that whole thing and how he got to announce that there was 90,000 at the volleyball day in America last year.
That's right.
So at my first volleyball game, I got to announce in front of everybody that it was the third largest crowd in DJ Sokol Arena history.
That's right. They were very proud of that, as they should be.
On Friday, right away to start the season. I mean, they bring it. I think I've probably been to one or two Creighton volleyball matches before that. And they bring it. They're locked in and they're really good.
Really good.
They're
this year.
really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll be back out there on Thursday. And I got Socktoberfest on Friday.
Socktoberfest, a tradition unlike any other.
Indeed. And then the big game on Saturday. It's a big week for all of us. It's been a big weekend in the odd news. Josh, what do we have?
We have an update on just how bad the Chicago White Sox are.
Oh, good.
They have extended their recent losing streak to 11 games after losing to the Baltimore Orioles 13-3 last night. That game was started by pitcher Chris Flexen.
Mm-hmm.
It is the 20th straight loss in which Chris started, setting a new record for baseball's modern era for most consecutive losses in a pitcher's starts. He now holds that record with Washington Nationals pitcher Bob Groom.
We have seen in our days some truly awful Major League Baseball teams, but never one this bad. This is, without a doubt, the worst team that I have ever seen.
Yes, in our lives. Now, many of you are older and may remember the 62 Mets who went 40-120. Connor and I were not.
I don't remember that.
But
they're worse than that.
It feels worse, right?
They're 31-108.
That's right.
On the season with a .223 winning percentage. They're 48.5 games out of first place in the American League Central.
How far out of fourth place are they?
They are 39 games out of fourth place. They played the Orioles in over the weekend. There was a game in which the Orioles, in a baseball game, if you would like to bet the Orioles, you would have had to bet $450 to win $100.
Oh, wow.
Minus 450 in a baseball game. And it hit.
Sure.
My God. I mean, we've never seen anything like this before.
11 losses in a row, the third longest skid of the year for the Chicago White Sox. They are on pace to finish 36-126, which would be the second most defeats behind the 1899 Cleveland Spiders, who went 20-134.
And there's the thing about this. It's baseball, and it's, teams get hot for a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
This one hasn't.
Has not.
And so they're projecting them to win 5 out of their next, what do they have, 15, 20 games left, something like that? 5. And you could pretty much guarantee that they're not going to win 5.
Yeah.
They're not going to win 5 more games. They've won 31 games the entire season.
The whole year.
And they've played more than 140 at this point. So
yes,
it's bad. It's bad. As Scott Frost once said, it's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
We stay in the AL Central, oddly enough.
You don't have to talk about it.
It does not involve your team.
Okay, thank God.
Scary scene at the Rays game yesterday.
Did a Ray get out of the tank?
No, a Minnesota twin, hit a ball so hard that it went over the fence for a home run. That's the goal.
That's not odd.
That is not odd. It is. What is odd is that the ball drilled a man in the head so hard it knocked him unconscious.
Oh, no.
It happened in the second inning of the Rays-Twins game yesterday at the Trop when, Connor, you're going to have to help me with this. Trevor Larnach?
Close, yeah.
Okay.
Larnach. Yeah.
Roped a slider into deep right field as the ball, which was traveling 112.5 miles per hour, cleared the wall. A man tried to snag it with his bare hands, but missed and was hit right in the dome.
And he's good.
He was out. Yes. Young Trevor, said in a post-game interview he was able to chat with the fan later in the game, sent him some memorabilia his way. So
that's the price now.
Would you
hit a guy in the face with a baseball, you got to give him a bat.
You got to give him a bat and
a signed ball,
a couple other nuggets, and
that's
you're
the
good
key.
to go. Yeah,
you go to a baseball game, just get hit in the face. All of a sudden, you're walking out rich. Not a bad idea.
We always, you can't have a player sign an autograph and put it up on eBay anymore. People are watching out for that sort of thing. They get real mad at you if you're not a child asking for things like that. This is the new way.
Tyler just sent me a stat here. This is good.
Is it a White Sox stat?
It is.
Okay.
So
Thank you, Tyler.
The AL Central as a division is 38 games under 500.
Oh, no.
I don't know if you're familiar with the AL Central. Its other 4 teams are actually at least okay.
Yes.
Every single other team outside of the White Sox is over 500. The Cleveland Guardians are 20 games over 500. So how could the division be 38 games under 500? Well, that's because of the Chicago White Sox, who are 31-108. I mean,
incredible,
unreal stuff. Horrible.
Finally, in the odd news, many people are talking about Joey Chestnut's world record hot dog consumption yesterday on Netflix. Did you watch the Joey Chestnut versus Kobayashi?
Do you think I did?
No, not a chance. You didn't even know it took place.
I may have seen some tweets about who was watching this.
No, not even me. But I would like to turn your attention to a different record broken in competitive eating over the weekend. The Harmful Roaster in Belding, Michigan, hosted its first ever chugging competition. The goal is very simple. You win by chugging a 24-ounce glass of ranch dressing. Zach Orvis was the winner.
Pretty gross.
It took him all of 10 seconds to chug again 24 ounces of ranch dressing. When asked about how he consumed so much ranch so quickly, he said, "I've seen people pour about that much on their salads, so what's the difference?"
That makes me uncomfortable.
There were 11 others participating in this contest. It was so popular that they had to put 4 people on a waiting list just in case one of the combatants dropped out. I don't know why they had to limit it to 12. Maybe they only had 12 chairs, but one of the competitors was a 10-year-old. And the 10-year-old Jordan said, "I'm a kid. I'm the youngest person here. Good luck to me."
What a quote.
It really kind of is.
How'd he do? 12?
Doesn't say.
At least he competed.
Yeah,
we love a kid with the competitive spirit.
Love of the game. He said the winner of the competition said, "I don't feel sick at all. It's just ranch dressing." Moments after winning the competition, the prize, besides having your name in the odd news, a $100 gift card and a free order of all-you-can-eat wings every week until spring of 2025.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
A $100 gift card to what? Hidden Valley?
The Harmful Roaster.
Oh.
In Belding, Michigan.
All right. Well, congrats to the participants.
You people are gross.
That's sick. That's disgusting.
Normally we say sicko as a term of endearment.
Yeah, that's actually sickening.
Yes.
That's disgusting. All right. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That is the odd news. Coming back, we'll hear from Matt Rule a little bit. He is not taking the bait on this whole rivalry thing. Is it a culture war? No. But the question was asked. We'll see how Matt Rule responds to that. You might be able to guess. So we'll have some of that when we return on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. But first, yes, once again, it is NFL week. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. They have you covered. Special offer just to kick us off for the season. Right now, through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. I am so locked. I am ready to go for this offer. I get 3 free weeks. All I have to do is place a $5 bet with the FanDuel Sportsbook, and I get all the games. I mean, that's a pretty good setup. Be like me. Do this. With your YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is that Google account, that YouTube TV account, and the current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Head to FanDuel.com/Happer. Download America's #1 sportsbook. 3 free weeks of NFL Sunday Ticket from the FanDuel Sportsbook. 21 and over, present in Iowa. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after the free trial. No refunds, teams, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
I like Steve Sipple yesterday. He asked the question. It was, is this a culture war? People have been saying that this is a culture war. It's obvious why. They approach things in a different manner. Different. Well, Matt Rule, you have the opportunity here to take the bait. Will he, add some more air to the flames? Will he fan the flames? I mean, there's flames. There's no doubt about it. Here is Matt Rule on that very question yesterday afternoon.
They do well in school. They don't get in trouble off the field, and they compete. I got no at all. I think they're a competitive culture. They go recruit and get the best players they can get. They do well in school. they don't get in trouble off the field, and they compete. I respect it with what they do.
I respect that. Matt Rule stealing a line from me at the White Castle in Vegas. I respect that. So yeah, these programs are the same, right? Remember last year when Nebraska had the gall to do a prayer in the middle of the field before the game, and it was then where Shedeur Sanders came up and started showing people his watch. What a weird thing that happened.
You should pray to God for this. This Rolly.
So weird. I saw the clip rolling around again this morning, and it was Billy Kemp who he was showing his watch to, and then one of Nebraska's staffers came in and just it wasn't confrontational at all. And then Shedeur kind of came in and showed people his watch and maybe made it a little confrontational.
There was definitely okay, someone is holding me back, so now I will try and fight.
If you want to be if you want to feel disrespected, you can feel disrespected. But Nebraska is not going to allow their words prior to the game to lead to any sort of bulletin board material. Matt Rule was asked about his thoughts on some of the things that were said last year, specifically that incident. Here he is.
Take anything, nothing. I mean, everyone's got their own, everything's got their own things to do. And like I said, I got love in my heart and a lot of respect for what they're doing. So, yeah, nothing really bothered me. I mean, at the end of the day, Shedeur thought I felt like I disrespected his father. He was standing up for him. Good for him. My son would stand up for me. So I think I got a bunch of players in there. I think they'll show up on Saturday.
That's the key. We got to get Bryant, Matt Rule's son, in there. Start showing his watch on Saturday.
It's a Casio. It's got a calculator on it.
Oh, by the way, you guys like the graphics?
Yes.
You guys like that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Just adds a little something extra for the viewers.
I got a couple more things in here. Is this a measuring stick game? I just mentioned that in the previous segment we were talking about it in the lead up to this. Nebraska's had a lot of these games over the years where it felt like, hey, this is kind of a big moment for the program. I'll say this. It is. It's a big moment for the program. It's a hill that Nebraska that they feel ready to climb and get over the top of.
I'm sure we will have this discussion later in the week as to this is the biggest game since fill in the blank. We're going back a ways.
Yeah. I mean, the first one I think that comes in my head is probably, knowing the results of what happened afterwards. Now having the hindsight is probably that Oregon game in 2016 felt like a big deal. Hey, all right, they beat a team with a brand name. They beat a team, and there was some attention on the game, and then that propelled them to the start they had that year, 7-0. And this feels similar. Here is Matt Rule asked if this is a measuring stick game.
That way, this is our second game, so we're going to try to make an improvement from last week. I thought the guys handled last week great. I think every day is a measuring stick for us in our program. Every day we're trying to see where we are, and so, we'll play the game, and we'll come in on Sunday, whatever the result is, and we'll get better, for week 3. So that's literally all I can say. I mean, we are as day by day right now as we've ever been in a program.
I think that is a healthy thing for a football program. I think that is a healthy approach. I think that is something that if you turn back the clock a year ago, Nebraska desperately needed Matt Rule's approach. They needed to say, we have to forget about all this. We cannot think about all this other stuff. It had hurt the program for a long time. It's just, there was a lot of other stuff going on, whatever it might've been, the chatter. Where are you right now? Everything's this measuring stick game. Everything turned into this big picture idea. And, we get the calls afterwards on Big Red Overreaction. Where's the program at right now? Not everything needs to be that way, according to Matt Rule. He had a line yesterday where he said, people talk about controlling the controllables. I think about fixing the fixables, right? It's one problem at a time. What is the thing in front of us? I'm worried about getting off the field on third down. I'm worried about, making sure that we return this punt or whatever it might be. I think that was a really great thing for this program to be able to get some foundation, right? It's fundamental. We're playing football. But does at any point this week or after this week, when does it turn from, all right, we got to get, I wonder what the conversations are like behind closed doors this week. Because I would doubt Matt Rule he's a pretty intense guy when he wants to get going. He was asked about hype speeches and stuff like that. And he said, maybe you can let those go a couple times a year. He definitely did last year prior to the, Illinois game, I think. If we die, we die.
People forget.
What's that look like this week? Is Nebraska ready for that moment? And does Matt Rule challenge them with that? Or is it just, hey, this is another game. This is the team right in front of us. Play the plays. Because like it or not, it is not just another game on Saturday night. You'll feel it walking into that stadium. You will be overcome by it walking into that stadium. There is no hiding behind, it's just a football game. It won't be. It will not be. You'll have no choice. So Nebraska will have to, deal with that. They'll have to deal. This is the first game. And I guess you could make the case that last year's Colorado game was this too, but this is the first game in the Matt Rule era where there's real stakes. And it feels like Nebraska kind of needs to win it. People are commenting in the YouTube chat right now, like, hey, I can't handle this if Nebraska loses yet another game to Colorado. And so I think it'll be something this week that they'll have to address and they'll have to talk about and they'll have to get challenged a little bit. You can't, this is a big game. Like I said, I liked that approach. But I do want some extra emotion for this. And so maybe I'm trying to, as a person who watches the team, I want there to be some extra juice for this.
Oh yeah.
I want,
I can't be more invested in this than they are.
I almost want Matt Rule to say something, but he's not going
to. I've noticed in these clips you've played that normally the very chatty Matt Rule seems bound and determined to not say a damn thing.
Indeed. He is being extra careful.
Yeah.
Being extra careful this week. On the rivalry, Matt Rule tells a nice story about a summer trip that he took this year. Let's see.
My wife and I, we went skiing this year in Beaver Creek, and just we were kind of sent the kids up, and we met some friends, and we were sitting down, hanging out, and this young lady walked up to me. She said, "Are you Coach Rule from the Huskers?" And I was like, "Oh, I thought I was a Husker fan." I said, "Yeah." And she said something to me. I can't repeat it out loud. And her boyfriend was like, "Oh, sorry, Coach." I was like, "Nah, hey, this is what's great about college football, right? We love rivalries. We love all of that. And so this is a long-established rivalry, and I think it's great for the game. I think it's great for us. It's great for our university. People all across the country are going to tune in this week to see this football game, and they'll see our fan base. They'll see the class with which we play. They'll see two great teams compete. They'll see our campus. You have enough games like this, and admissions applications start to go up, and admissions start to go up, and good things start to happen. Watching the game last week, look that's happened at Colorado. So I think the rivalry's great. And yes, as we went through this process, as I was showing my family Nebraska, I was showing them, those games. You get on YouTube, and the algorithm starts sending those things. So we were watching all these old games, and so it was a great rivalry that I grew up on, and it's a lot of those rivalries are dead now. So it's great to play it.
From 20, Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
Healthy, yes. Also, a load of crap. Rule knows this is a huge game, but he can't say that. I don't know if he can't. He certainly can, but he's not.
No need to put more pressure on your guys by acknowledging it, right?
I guess not. But man, there's not going to be any hiding from it on Saturday night. Like I said, there's not going to be any of this is just another game. It won't be. It's not going to be.
Also, that little nugget in there about playing with class. Are you insinuating Colorado doesn't play with class?
Okay, so that's I'm glad you said that, because that is now the stage that we're at. Like, what is that? Is that they're going to see the class with which we play?
Is that a shot?
Interesting. Do they not play with class? Does the other team will they see the other team not play with class? How does this manifest itself? What is this going to look like on Saturday? Will there be dust up? And what will that look like? I don't think Mitch and I were talking about this on our podcast. I don't.
The Locked On podcast.
Yes, I don't think that Colorado is like a dirty team. I don't think they're a dirty team, but they approach things in a much different manner. It's just more flashy, and so the original question of like, is this a culture war? It is a little bit of that. It is. But Rule is choosing to talk about how the styles of football in which they play, styles make fights, right? There's that. But in the grand scope of things, everything is different about these two programs in the way that they've built it, the way that they approach football, the way that they approach games, all of that stuff. And so you wonder how that looks on Saturday when you get into the big boiling emotional cauldron of Memorial Stadium with Colt McCoy on the call.
Two households, both alike in dignity. And fair Verona, where we lay our scene.
What's that a reference to?
That's Romeo and Juliet.
Oh,
those families.
Shakespeare guy. Yeah. Josh, nice.
Big Shakespeare overreaction.
Chris writes in on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, Chris.
Not just another game. During the crossover, can you please let John Bishop know that this is not just another game? He has insisted that it is. John Bishop has insisted that this is just another game?
Then why is he doing all the stuff on Saturday? I don't want a guy who thinks this is just another game doing the pregame show.
If this is just another game, then why are we doing a pregame show from the tailgate?
We don't do pregame shows. By the way,
why are we doing a postgame show from the Bobbums?
1620 The Zone will be at the Blur Tailgate Saturday.
Yes.
Doing a live pregame show 4 to 6.
I don't know what's going to happen on that show.
Connor Happer and John Bishop.
Yes.
And then Big Red Overreaction, of course, live after the game on location.
From the Bobbums. We're going to be Bobbum Man.
Bobbums?
Yeah. Bobbum is a reference to the league. Did you ever watch The League?
I loved The League.
Yeah, the Bobbum Man.
Yes.
When I was in college, I always called the bottoms the Bobbums because of that. So we're going to be Bobbum Man on Saturday night.
Please come out, say hi.
Oh, yeah.
Imbibe.
Yeah. Craig writes in on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Hi, Craig.
We have to beat Colorado. I'm going there next month for a week, and I want to wear my Husker gear. You want to be like Matt Rule and wherever he was going skiing. Brag, by the way. Did you like that?
I did. I loved it. You Matt Rule, coach of the Huskers? Yeah, bleep you.
I really want to know exactly how that went.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
did this woman really come up to him and say, "Are you Matt Rule, the coach of the Huskers? Go bleep yourself"? Because if that was the case, I love it. I love it. It couldn't have gone any better. Could not have gone any better.
Just a wild, wild scene. And then he's like, "Oh, yeah, college football's great, isn't it?"
Venmo Chris writes in.
Hi, Venmo Chris.
I'd pay good money to hear the pregame speech on Saturday. I can only imagine the chills being a fly on the wall. Yeah, what do you think that's going to sound like? Because, like I said, it's not going to be like, "Hey, let's just go out there and execute."
Both teams have fun.
College football is a place where it's supposed to be like, this is the game, right? What are the stakes for your program? What are the stakes for the other program? And then you also have tied into this one years and years and years of hatred, and then the added newfound hatred of the culture war piece of it.
Are we doing the show in season? Is the Chasing 3?
I don't know.
I feel like they did it last year.
Right? I guess if you're making that point, each of the two schools is they love documentaries of themselves.
Gosh, they really do. So much video content coming out of these two schools.
Max writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Max.
Says, "Hi, guys. As much as Rule is downplaying it at the mic, I bet that pregame talk is going to be nuclear."
Yeah.
Very fired up and ready for the game.
Because you also have to kind of educate your roster on, like, hey, if you came here from elsewhere, a lot of you are also probably too young to know that this is a blood feud.
People do not forget in college football, Josh.
I don't vacation in Colorado. My wife has asked many times, and I have said no.
Really?
This is not a bit. She asks me every year, can we go to Colorado this year? And I go, no, I will not step foot in that state.
Are you serious? What's wrong with you? Colorado is awesome. What a great state.
Horrible state with horrible people.
Yeah, but here's the thing now. Now you go to Colorado and you take a weekend, long weekend, and you go to, maybe people did that this weekend, and you will find more Buffs fans yapping their yappers about Coach Prime.
Mm-hmm.
During the last 10, 15 years, you probably didn't see much of that.
They got their Buffs gear on, their Avalanche hat, and their Nuggets jersey, and they think, oh, what if we never lost again in this state of ours?
Alan writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Alan.
After the Texas game fiasco, hashtag read out around the world, I'm okay with not pumping up the game so much. Now is not the time to be scared. Now is literally an if we die situation. Unfortunately, you can't bring up that line again because it's already been used.
Mm-hmm.
You fire that one off at a good moment, and now you can't use it again. But this is a time for the if we die speech.
Yeah. Especially with the way that Colorado plays, you kind of almost have to be aggressive against their aggressiveness on offense and take your shots.
I was looking back on the YouTube comments here. Gosh, where was it? Yeah, Eric says this is a if we die moment. Jacob says, I would give up golf if we win on Saturday. LOL.
Whoa.
Would you eat a cup of dog crap?
Or would you,
if they lose,
run away and hide like a coward?
Some are doing that. This is not just a game. This is what the whole segment was for. This is not just a game. We'll hear from Matt Rule a little bit more in the show, talking about Malachi Coleman. There were some interesting things on that. Asian Joe writes in.
Hi, Asian Joe.
He says, I'm going to Colorado later this month, but for a concert in Casa Bonita.
Casa Bonita is great.
Don't you? Well, you don't want to go to Casa Bonita?
Not again.
You don't want to see them diving off the cliff while you eat dinner?
I went once before South Park saved it. Okay.
So you even hate Casa Bonita.
If they were to franchise and go elsewhere, I would give them my business.
Hockey Dad writes in.
Hi, Hockey Dad.
Is it just me, or for us as soft as Rule is talking about this game, if he has a chance to hang 50, he'll go for. See, that's the thing. When you get him in an emotional state, I don't like. They're not going to run up the score. They're not going to do anything like that during the football game.
Nah.
I'm curious what might be said afterwards. They'll play it pretty cool. But I think you heard it a little bit on Saturday. You know, Matt Rule spent this entire offseason trying to convince people of the state, like, hey, I think we're good. And then you saw that they were pretty good on Saturday, and he was like, see? That was, I think, his mentality after the game. He was pretty fired up.
Do you believe?
So, yeah. By the way, text from the 402. I'm with you 100%, Josh. Hate the Buffs, Avs, and Broncos. The entire state. Garbage town to me. Maybe this week, I'm not interested in going to Colorado. Although this is a nice time to visit. I remember Labor Day 2020. I was out in Colorado because there was no college football that I had to care about. So I was like, let's go.
Look, if you want weed, I'll get you weed.
It's not about the weed, Josh.
It's about the weed.
It's about the mountains. We don't have the mountains.
Whole question, is it about the weed?
It's not about the weed. It's not about the weed. It's about the mountains and the views, things like that. But we don't care about any of that crap this week.
Many states have mountains.
Yeah, but that's the closest one.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, unless you fancy yourself the Bluffs of Council. Doesn't count.
I go frequently.
Doesn't count.
No.
All right, we're back after this. Want to hear your thoughts on this all week long. We'll, of course, get into the game. How about a little Big Ten report card coming up next? 17-1 the conference went. I have A's, B's, C's, and F's.
No one got a D.
Nobody got a D.
Okay.
D is not a grade. You either do average, above average, or you failed.
Okay.
That's my class. Coming back on 1620 The Zone. Oh, would you like to support Dylon?
Yes.
All right.
He's our baby boy.
Well, you have the option to on the Nebraska NIL store, the Shaka collection by Dylon. Show love to QB1 after an insane debut for the Huskers. People love
because I spit hot fire,
capitalizing the word insane. It's a
what are you reading?
It's a T-shirt of a hand that's going like this, and then it says DR Huskers. Dylon's official Shaka merch available now at the Nebraska NIL store. A cut of this goes to Dylon.
Like Shaka Smart?
This is the Shaka.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the thumb and the pinky. Shaka. Buy your Shaka Dylon shirt. Now available at the Nebraska NIL store. Okay, quickly before we get to the report card, one specific thing I learned on Saturday. I thought this would be the case. It definitely has turned out to be the case. Nebraska got something with Isaiah Nair. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Understatement.
That guy is good. Obviously they got something with Banks, and obviously they really have something with Dylan Raiola.
What a catch, Banks.
But man, Isaiah Nair has
what did he have Saturday? 100 catches?
Only 6.
Oh,
121 yards and a
Okay.
touchdown. That long one, of course. But before the season, we spent some time talking about how I think they have a bunch of guys who they feel like can execute and can do good things. And my question coming out of that was, okay, who are their home run hitters? Do they have any home run hitters? I think it's TBD at running back. They probably still don't have any home run hitters. Although I think you can live with the run game that Nebraska put out there on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've identified one home run hitter. That would be number 18. That guy's good. That's an NFL talent. So, Nebraska will probably, Nebraska will probably highlight him as they go forward. 6 catches for 121 yards and a touchdown.
I would like to
8
see more
targets.
of this person.
And then he had the one, it was a perfect ball on the first drive that, just beyond his outstretched hands, or maybe went through his hands, would have been a touchdown. Banks was good, but so we had a lot of people this offseason like, I just don't know. Come on, we've done this before. They've gotten transfer wide receivers, and they felt like they rebuilt the wide receiver room. Banks and Nair are the real deal. The real deal. And obviously it helps that you have a very good quarterback.
Very good quarterback.
Indeed. All right, to the report cards here. We'll talk about that wide receiver room a little bit more later in the show as it pertains to Malachi Coleman and his situation. We got a call on the postgame show. Where was Malachi Coleman? He didn't play. What's the plan for him going forward?
I feel like we've gotten that call a lot.
We'll talk about him a little bit later on. All right, A's. Who gets A's? These would be teams that are categorized as they had nice wins and they played at least decent teams. You can't get an A if you played Eastern Illinois. And you can't get an A if you played UTEP, unfortunately. We're talking about results grades here. Nice wins versus at least decent teams. Congratulations to USC and Penn State.
Oh, hey, good job, guys.
They get A's for the weekend.
Sure.
Nice job. Representing the Big Ten Conference well in tough out-of-conference games. I had picked I was watching out for Penn State. I thought they were on upset alert this weekend. And I figured LSU would beat USC too.
Yes. I agree.
B's. These are teams that turned in comfortable wins against lackluster competition. A B is a good grade, Josh. B's get degrees.
Oh, absolutely.
Rutgers, Illinois, Nebraska, Ohio State, Iowa, Maryland, Purdue, Indiana.
Good job, Ohio State. No one will ever know how close it was.
52-6?
Yeah.
Josh, did you watch that game?
I big and 60'd it.
I didn't catch a lick of it. All I saw was the one clip of Brad Nessler welcoming people to the broadcast, and I thought, this is weird.
It was, well, Akron had a lead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
3-0?
Yeah, and just kind of.
Well, it got away from them maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
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 They get a B for the weekend. Nebraska also gets a B for the weekend. They did a nice job and took care of business, as did Rutgers, Illinois, Iowa, Maryland, Purdue, and Indiana.
Iowa, 3 passing touchdowns. Good job.
Here are teams that got C's
Okay.
over the weekend.
Now, C's also get degrees.
C's also get degrees, but they're a little scarier.
Sure.
It's the category of teams that got a little scary for over the weekend. Michigan State.
What the hell was that?
16-10 over FAU.
Florida Atlantic.
Not good.
Oh.
Wisconsin. You got out of there with a win. Wasn't pretty.
Ugh.
I don't like that team.
Oh, no.
I don't like that team right now.
Connor, I believe I texted you this on Friday. You were right.
Oregon. 24-14, I believe, against Idaho.
That is correct.
It was close in the fourth quarter. I don't know that it was in the balance, but it was one thing goes wrong and all of a sudden you're in real trouble.
Definitely. Oregon left a lot of points on the field, but
that's a C on the report card. You
yeah.
leave that many points on the field, it's C on the report card.
Also, just one quick thing on the Oregon game. I think Dan Lanning was bound and determined to not show anything on film that week.
Feels like an Oregon move.
Uh-huh.
Northwestern. Congratulations on your win against Miami of Ohio in the lakefront. I saw many pictures about how, this is actually really cool. They should play here all the time. Nope.
Yeah,
that's stupid.
What happened this weekend? The tide turned on that stadium from being an absolute joke to going, you know what? It's pretty nice.
No.
Wait till November when it's not so nice there.
They're also going to build a nice new stadium right next to it. It's still on the lakefront. It's just going to be a lot better. So we're not going to do that. But Northwestern with a 13-6 win over Miami of Ohio. Nice job by them. Washington. I'm watching you, Washington. I know they got out of there with a comfortable enough win against Weber State, but that was a little tricky for the first half.
I haven't big and 60'd this yet, but man, scoreless after one?
Yes. And it felt scoreless after one. And then we will highlight the defending national champions, Michigan.
Oh,
Michigan. Michigan, you got out of there with a score that looked okay, 31-10, right? And they got a pick six late. That was close.
That was 52 minutes of hell for Michigan.
Uh-huh.
Luckily, the games are 60 minutes.
That was close. Big and 60 this one, and you get some fun there.
I was like, oh my gosh, they can't move the ball. They have two quarterbacks, one who throws it, one who runs it.
But look at these teams who are on the C list: Michigan State, Wisconsin, Oregon, Michigan, Northwestern, Washington. I came out of the weekend thinking, gosh, who really, really played well? And that's the difficulty of. And we're talking about it with Allan, but like, you probably don't need to schedule big teams in week one. As bad as that is for us as the viewer, you're just not quite there yet with all the transfer portal, and you're trying to figure out who you are and all that stuff. It's not advantageous for you to play somebody good and try and scrap your way to a week one win. It just gets you off on a bad foot.
What can I take away
from what?
From these games?
Yeah,
like
from the ones where they played lackluster opponents.
Yeah,
or were
yeah.
they...
Like, it was UTEP. It was Indiana State. It was Illinois
I'll tell you
State.
what, I'd sure as hell rather be in Nebraska's position right now than I would be in. I don't know. It's hard because obviously Oregon is going to be better, but like Michigan, Nebraska and Michigan might be a little bit comparable this year. Fresno State, that wasn't a scheduling error by them, but they didn't take care of business as well as maybe they should have. Or maybe we should just lower the standards for week one.
Fresno State, not a scrub entirely.
Not a scrub. Michigan State, Wisconsin, Oregon, Michigan, Northwestern, Washington. That leaves two. And
there's no D's. That's right.
And we said only one team lost. Minnesota obviously gets one of the F's this week.
Sure.
And that leaves our new friends. They're in Los Angeles. It's us and USC. You can't go to Hawaii and get out with your lives. Sorry, UCLA. I know you won the game. You get an F. Not good. Didn't look pretty.
I have not watched this one yet. I plan on it.
You do?
Yeah. I need to know why Ethan Garbers is the team's leading rusher. I need to know why he threw 2 picks against Hawaii.
Yeah. I mean, Hawaii, people talk about Hawaii's resurgent, Hawaii's coming back a little bit.
Fighting Changs.
I don't like that situation. That's not very good.
I feel like that is one where you can take away something and go, I don't like UCLA's chances this year.
Yeah. Using some of what the offseason chatter was about them. That's your Big Ten report card from week one. We look forward to week 2 where the grades will be coming in yet again.
What is the slate this week?
Okay, let's play that game. So Friday, we got a pair. Western Illinois and Indiana. Josh loves himself some Indiana.
They can sling it.
Duke and Northwestern are playing for the 12th straight year.
Tradition like any other.
11 a.m., Texas and Michigan.
Sure, that's the big one.
Texas is a 7.5-point favorite.
Take Texas.
Maybe. Bowling Green and Penn State.
Okay.
Rhode Island and Minnesota. Akron and Rutgers.
Rhode Island.
Iowa State, Iowa. Michigan State, Maryland is a conference game. Eastern Michigan and Washington, South Dakota and Wisconsin, Kansas and Illinois is kind of fun on Saturday night.
Ooh, interesting.
Ohio State gets Western Michigan. Oregon gets Boise State, USC, Utah State, and then, of course, Nebraska and Colorado.
That USC game, 10 o'clock kickoff on BTN.
BTN After Dark did debut this week.
Oregon's got a 9 o'clock kick on Peacock.
Was Washington and Weber State the first BTN After Dark game?
I believe it was.
Stolen Valor.
Oh.
Just leave it be, you know. The body's still warm in the Pac-12. You don't have to steal it right away. Just give it some time. Give it a year. Maybe next year they'll start calling it the 2-minute warning instead of insisting that it's the 2-minute timeout. Just out of they're doing this out of respect to the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, they get mad when we question why would you differentiate? Why not just call it the same thing? And they're like, well, that's what we were told. Okay, calm down, buddy. We're just asking the question.
Also, what did you think of all the sideline reports this week of the microphones being stuck in helmets?
Oh my God, I'm so sick of hearing about. They can use helmet comms now.
The first time I saw it, I thought it was kind of cool to give an example. And then I saw it on every broadcast.
Did you know there's a 12-team playoff now? Losing a game might not be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. That's the other thing from this weekend, too. Now, Florida State, 0-2.
You're done.
Sorry. Can't lose games like
0-2 in conference.
And they're in champ. Like, it's less about, it's interesting because it's less about what it means for your resume for the entire season. Like, that is, because, I mean, theoretically, they could still go 10-2, but everybody says now there's no way in hell they're going 10-2 because of how they've started the season and how they've looked and the results that they've taken now. So it's more about what it does to your team rather than what it actually means for the resume. That's the adjustment that we have in the 12-team college football playoff era. All right, Jacob Bigelow is going to join us at the top of the hour. We still have to talk about the Florida State fan who said he'd eat a cup of dog crap, and we have to find him. We have to talk about Scott Frost's new job and Malachi Coleman as well and what the plan is for him. Still plenty to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
He does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Dylan Raiola took to the podium today.
Dylan?
Practice, young Dylan. He was asked with what wisdom did his father impart on him preparing for this game.
Dylan.
He said, quote, "My dad told me this week that he's never lost to them," which he did not. So no pressure on the young quarterback. Just so you know, I never lost to them, Dad said. What a cool moment.
Colorado.
Colorado, yeah.
Okay.
What a moment that was before the game where, Dylan leads them out of the tunnel, and then, right before there's the kind of meeting with the entire family, and it's like it was almost like Dominic kind of like passing the Raiola torch to Dylan, and the younger son Dayton is there, and his sister Taylor, who works in the program, is there, and like there was just like this huddle, and it was like, Josh, you love a changing of the guard. It was like it was almost like a bar mitzvah. It was like, you are now of age. It was like Simba becoming the king of Pride Rock.
Is that why I enjoyed that moment so much? Because it was a changing of the guard.
Yeah.
I thought it was just me being a soft father, and I was just like, oh,
yeah,
that's really nice that he gets to he got to do it and gets to do it with his son too. Like, yeah,
it was pretty special.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. I wasn't there on Saturday, but I always remember that buzz prior to the first Frost game in 2018 that never ended up happening. I remember it being different.
You owe us money, Akron.
I remember it being different that day. So I wonder if it would have felt like that on Saturday. I know it'll feel much, much different this coming Saturday night. Back to the 2-minute timeout. We got a comment here on the YouTube. If it's a 2-minute timeout, then why did Raiola have to come out for a play when his helmet came off? I don't know that we've gotten like complete clarity on that. I at first thought that he didn't have to, but then I was thinking about it a little more, and I saw some people talking about it. It must have to be like a charged time, like you have to take one. If you really need your quarterback to stay in the game for that play, you have to straight up take a timeout.
I believe it is procedural like that.
Right. So it's stupid that they call it the 2-minute timeout in the first place. Just call it the 2-minute warning like everybody else does. But yeah, he did have to come out for that play. And it was Heinrich Harburg, and then he handed the ball off, and then Dylan Raiola came back into the game, and then he threw a touchdown on that drive. You know what was great about that? After he had come back in, I kind of thought, because they were still not quite at midfield yet, and I kind of thought, yeah, they're just going to take it easy here. Probably just take it into half. They're letting off the gas a little bit. There didn't seem to be a whole lot of urgency. They kind of lulled me to sleep a little bit, and then bang, they hit a couple plays, and all of a sudden you're taking a shot with 8 seconds left. And it was cool to hear Rule talk about that process of, how everyone was sort of, they were on the same page. They knew exactly what we're going to take a shot up top here with 8 seconds. Don't worry, we got this. If we don't hit it, we'll take the field goal. We'll go into the locker room. There wasn't like this whole, we have to score here. Nebraska is an expert at screwing up those last 2 minutes before halftime, the middle 8 or whatever, the last 4 of the first half, the first 4 of the second half. Nebraska's been very, very good at that over the years, and they executed all that stuff pretty perfectly on Saturday. Man, that's another example of, it was cleaner than I thought it would be on Saturday against UTEP.
Dylan was unbothered.
Yeah.
Okay, there's 8 seconds left. How many times would we see a quarterback in that exact same situation just let it run down his leg, and we'd be moaning and groaning going into the half, like,
murmurs.
Oh, we left some points on the field.
And then 30-7, like the game's over at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like 23-7, maybe not. 30-7, it's over. Here is a Colorado offensive lineman quote.
Okay.
This is from Scott Proctor, who covers the Buffs for the Coloradoan. Is that the student paper? I assume it's the student paper. Let me check on that real quick. No, it's not.
No.
It's in the USA Today network. Colorado offensive lineman Justin Mayers on Nebraska, quote, their game on both sides of the ball is really their trenches, the O-line and D-line for them. I'm not really worried about their size. As long as we rely on our technique and be aggressive, we should be good. They should be good.
Oh,
Yeah,
honey.
They'll be fine.
It'll be good.
It'll be good. I think that's great. I think that's a great attitude to go into the game with. Don't worry. We'll be fine. We just got to do our jobs. Totally.
Just really, really struggled against North Dakota State, but
yep.
Whatever. First game of the year.
That Ty Robinson guy, that Nash Shotmaker guy, I don't know. They're just, it's, we'll take care of those guys.
He's going to wrestle you to the ground.
We just got to do our thing and we'll be fine. I love that. That's a great quote from a Colorado player. I hope they continue to think that way.
Read it again, just in case anyone from the team is listening. They usually are, according to everyone who listens to us.
That's right. It usually does get back to them. Their game on both sides of the ball is really in their trenches. The O-line and D-line for them, I'm not really worried about their size. As long as we rely on our technique and be aggressive, we should be good.
Boy, would hate to see that on Freezing Cold Takes.
We
Saturday
should
night.
be good. We should be good. Here's an email about hatred from Venmo Chris.
Hi, Venmo Chris.
As a young and impressionable boy growing up in Iowa, in an Iowa household in the year 2001, I was told to hate Nebraska. I liked Nebraska, but my father always told me how much he hated them. He would always laugh at their misfortunes and say they deserved games such as the 99 Texas game and the 2000 Oklahoma game. Now, when we sat down to watch the infamous Colorado debacle in 2001, it was the first time that I heard no joy from him, the Iowa fan. He was visibly angry. I questioned him about it, and I got a 30-minute speech on why Colorado is the scum of the earth. The treatment he got in Colorado for just having Nebraska license plates. Had his windows broken out, just classic Colorado stuff. If you want to know why I hate Colorado, that's where it all started. A man who hated Nebraska with all his heart was willing to root for them over the Buffaloosers. That spoke to me. With all that said, bleep tiny baby Colorado, GBR. Venmo Chris. I don't know why he's Venmo Chris, by the way.
You just got to advertise. Hey, you can Venmo me. I'm Chris.
I'm Chris. Listen, you be more specific about that. Yeah, that hate's coming out this week. That's for sure. Like to hear it.
I want this.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to say that, right?
Yes.
I want this.
Yes. You want it?
Let me Brian Kelly this.
And I think, once again, there's a confidence coming from behind it because people like this team. People like this team. Like, Nebraska fans have been really, really good. How many times have we discussed this in the dichotomy of the fan base over the last several years? It's like, we love to talk about the things that are wrong with the team. We hate, like, it's a sports fan thing built in there somewhere. You always think something bad is going to happen. But there are those times where you actually like your team and you feel really good about them. And sometimes that results in the most pain of all, right? You thinking that your team is good and then not getting the results that you want. That's when you really feel it as a sports fan. But I feel like for the first time in a while, people actually like this team and there's a confidence there. And
you can get over
and then
hump
you
here.
combine that with a little hatred, and all of a sudden Saturday night looks a little bit different and feels a little bit different. All right, let's go to Malachi Coleman here real quick. One more from Matt Rule before we get to Bigelow. So we got a call in the postgame show. Hey, where was Malachi Coleman? He wasn't one of the 107 people who played. What's the situation with Malachi going forward? Here's Matt Rule yesterday at the press conference.
Healthy, and we had no injuries. Malachi's doing great. There's no problems. I just think, Malachi stepped up for us last year, in a year that maybe he could have redshirted and tried to play. And so he's kind of in that same, if we have to play him, we'll play him. And it's early, but I don't want to play him, later in the games. And we have these two big receivers out there that are playing well. If Malachi can have this year and he can play, 4 games and play in the postseason, I think he would just be really picking right up where those guys are left off. Because he made a catch last week on the scout team that I was like, wow, it's awesome to see. And so, just taking the pressure off him for a little bit and let him go compete. And, I'm sure he doesn't want a red shirt. I'm sure he wants to play. So if something happens, he can play in the next couple of weeks. But I just didn't want to put him in for a play here, a play there. When we use someone's red shirt, we really want it to be worthwhile.
Wow. Kind of an interesting plan there for a guy who ended up, playing quite a bit for Nebraska in the second half of last season. One of the guys that they turned to, him and Jalen Lloyd, young receivers who they were just like, hey, you guys have got to learn at some point, go in there and go. Sounds like the plan. And I think it's, Rule said it out loud, so we could say it out loud here. He's going to redshirt this year.
Sure seems that way.
Now that's a little uneven, Josh. I don't know, how it usually works, but it feels like you usually redshirt and then you play, not you play and then you redshirt. So I think this is a pretty big moment here for Malachi Coleman. Pretty big moment. How do you react to this?
Well, it goes one of two ways, right? Like you
yes.
get better in practice, and Michael Severe spoke to this on Severe Reaction Sunday mornings on 1620 The Zone.
What a show.
A great show. And he talked about how sometimes Matt Rule uses the media to motivate a player to get better, and it's happened quite a few times during his tenure here. Malachi's either going to get better in practice or he's going to leave.
Yeah.
If you played year one, got redshirted year two, how could you convince me that, oh, no, we're going to get to you. Don't worry.
Well, I mean, it's the lesson that Matt Rule wants everybody to know in his program. And all coaches say this, but Nebraska's in a position where it came to life for a guy like Malachi Coleman. Your job is to come into the program, be talented. Obviously, if you're here, you're talented enough to play. Work hard enough to where we could trust you and put you on the field, and then go out and do it. Nebraska's coaches' assignments are to always recruit better players all the time. And so what they did this offseason was they bolstered that wide receiver room with Isaiah Nair and Jamal Banks. And those guys are in front of them. Now that does not explain why he's running on the scout team. Right? There's something else there. If a guy who played last year, people commented about Lloyd too. Lloyd played. Jalen Lloyd played what was it? About 20 snaps, 17 snaps on Saturday. And you might say, well, that's not, that's not enough, but I didn't think he was going to be one of the top two wide receivers on this team. That would go to guys like Banks and Nair. So what's the difference between Coleman and Lloyd? Well, I think you're kind of seeing it. Now, Coleman was banged up during preseason practice, kind of just getting his feet back underneath him. And maybe it's just a situation where, all right, now that he could be, whenever he gets fully healthy, he could be fully healthy, and then you kind of go from there. But it does not explain what, like there's something missing there, right, Josh? A guy of that talent who played last year shouldn't be running on the scout team right now. They must feel like he's not living up to whatever standard they have kind of set for him. And so Matt Rule with an outward public challenge for Malachi Coleman. Now it's your opportunity to work hard, to get better, and you could be out there because we've put you out there before, but you got to do this and this and this and this, and then you could play. It's, Ramir Stewart, he talked about Ramir Stewart, who had the interception on Saturday. He said, he came up to me before the game. He said, Coach, I'm 205. Put me in. That's my weight.
Yep.
If you're 206, you can't play. If you're 205, you can. And he goes out there, he's 205, and he has an interception.
Boom.
Late in the game, right? So I think it's, that all of this would be seemingly on Malachi Coleman here to go out and do enough. Now, does this bode well for the future of him being in the program? I'd say probably not. Probably not. But it's about how you react to stuff like this.
And this is not the first time we've had a where's Malachi Coleman conversation.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's in Rule's eyes, it's probably bleep or get off the pot.
Chris, other Chris writes in.
Hi, Chris.
Sounds a lot like he's getting the Morgan Freeman treatment. Get busy living or get busy dying.
It's always dying with Matt Rule.
I know. It's big time stakes here. All right, let's take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We got Jacob Bigelow on the other side. We'll get his thoughts on the Colorado game, what he saw this past weekend, the fun job of sitting next to Michael Severe during a football game.
Whoa!
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, Severe's locked in. He's got his binoculars and the whole thing. Also, by the way, one more quick one here. The AP poll is now out.
It's out.
Yes. Is Nebraska in it? No. Sorry.
Okay.
They want to keep the suspense going for that long.
Probably a bit of a pipe dream.
They received 16 votes. So 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Is that up a spot? I thought they were 36.
Can't remember.
Last week. 16 points.
Thank you, pollsters.
16 points. Nebraska's not ranked. You can put that dream to bed. Maybe after they do something to the Buffs this weekend.
Where's Florida State?
Oh,
I know. Very quick.
Did they receive any points?
They had to have received votes, but
you think they had to have received votes?
I mean,
why would they had to have received votes?
I guess you're right. I mean, they were 10th yesterday.
This is an update. I clicked on the link. So the AP,
where's it at?
So the AP does a tweet. AP Top 25. They do a tweet. It says poll alert. Florida State drops out of the AP Top 25 after an 0-2 start. Clemson plunges to number 25. Texas up to 3.
Bad.
And then they did a link, and the link is to the old poll.
I clicked it, and it's to the new poll.
Tell me what it says, because I'm looking dead in the eye of the old poll.
Nebraska, 27 votes. They would be
that's more.
26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31.
All right. So they're close.
They are.
If they win this week, they're in.
They are behind Iowa State, Boston College.
How many votes did Colorado get? Because they had one in the preseason edition.
One.
Still one. Okay. Florida State out. Clemson down to 25.
Clemson ass.
Yeah, you're gonna have to score some points. Tough to do against Georgia, but gonna have to score some points.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back after this with Bigelow on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. But I wanted to remind you, yes. Did you happen to see the line for the Vallis Pumpkin Patch? Holy smokes.
I saw everyone posting a picture on social media of that big chair, the beloved big chair.
So you might have to deal with the backup getting into Vallis Pumpkin Patch still, but it makes it all better if you go for free. And we're giving you that opportunity. Season passes. It makes it so you can go on like a Tuesday at 2:00 when you could just sneak right in there. Vallis Pumpkin Patch, you could win 2 2024 season passes to Vallis. Enjoy everything that Vallis has to offer on us. Enter to win right now, 1620thezone.com.
That's the country song, right? Remember when?
Thank you.
Jacob Bigelow.
Yeah. Whenever my open is concocted, throw that in there.
He's on fire!
Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated, on the Connor Happer Show, on 1620, The Zone.
Boom shakalaka!
All right. Let's have a football chat with Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated. Took in the game next to Michael Severe on Saturday. Interesting. I'd like to hear thoughts from that. Get the post-game show on that. Jacob joins us now on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Hi, Jacob.
Hello, Hap. How we doing?
Very good. Okay, so what did you notice? You were sitting next to the Michael watches football in a very different manner than most people watch football. What did you notice?
It was quite the welcome to football for me, getting to take in a game next to Michael Severe. He immediately told me to not bring that basketball BS to watching football. There was a quick, you're here. It's not basketball season from him as well. There was a quick, welcome to football rookie moment with me, but it was definitely a learning experience. And he had the binoculars at the ready. It was quite the scene, but that man definitely loved him some football. I can only aspire to love something someday as much as Michael Severe loves football.
What'd you think? What'd you think of just like the whole thing on Saturday? Not the football piece of it, but I've been talking about over the last couple of days here, just how I feel like there has been quite the response from the fan base and this team, and then you finally got to see it on Saturday, and obviously you'll see it tenfold on Saturday night. Like, did anything about the environment kind of strike you, or I guess was there anything special about it?
It was different in a way, right? Like, when was the last time? I mean, I know you've said, like, when was the last time this fan base, felt as good as they feel about the team? But like, when was the last time that the program in general lived up to, maybe even exceeded, like, what people wanted it to look like? And like, obviously it has to be taken with a grain of salt because it's UTEP in game one under a new coach with a bunch of dudes who played at Austin Peay last year. But aesthetically, just the way it looked on both sides of the ball, how into it that stadium was for a 2:30 game on a hot day against a cupcake team. But
yeah,
it all felt different, and it felt different in a good way. It was a very welcome change.
Yeah, no, I felt like it was that way too. It had every reason to be like, oh boy, here we go. And that's the type of game where Nebraska's, kind of played with their food a little bit, and it looked clean. What'd you think about the football piece of it? Like, was there anything that you were expecting that you didn't get, or anything that came in over expectations for you? Like, I guess, where are you at with this group compared to where you were maybe on Friday?
We had heard a lot about the receiving room all spring and summer and how revamped and retooled it was. And then, once again, they played UTEP. But I mean, the way, I don't know the last time Nebraska has had two guys with as much experience who are proven, that looked the part as well as Jamal Banks and Isaiah Nayor did on Saturday. And this is a credit to, the guy who was throwing him the ball too. I think the prettiest throw of the day for Dylan was the jump ball in the corner of the end zone to Banks. One, because of just how pretty it looked, but two, to have a guy who's that big and have it pinpoint placed where he can just sky up, grab it, and secure it. That was the play of the day for me. From the offense, but Nayor and Raiola clearly have a great rapport as well. He's led in targets and yards, and that's been my biggest position room question mark, whether it's under this coaching staff, under this staff last year or previous regimes, is what has happened to the receiving room at Nebraska, and to see not one but two guys who are clearly gonna have plenty of a workload going forward, and even to see Carter Nelson catch a couple balls and show some elusiveness on his his first catch, goes for 14 yards. I mean, there's plenty of shiny new toys in that receiving room, and we saw quite a few of them on display.
All right, now we're on to Colorado week, and it's already begun. I like the clip from Deion Sanders' press conference this morning. First of all, there was a question from Brian Howell, I think is a guest of some of our shows over the years, who covers the Buffs and has for a long time. He tried to ask the first question today, and Deion made a quick rule change. He said we're gonna have the women ask the questions first. So he did that, and Deion went just changing the rules, and then he talked about his respect for Matt Rule because they came in the same head coaching class together. They had their first years at their schools last year, the same year. I guess, how do you feel like this will go throughout the week? Maybe not as far as the chatter. This will be all kind of fan base, I think, related, because I don't think Deion's really going there either. How do you think the week will go leading into the Saturday night game?
I mean, it's going to feel like it's going to feel like you're just waiting for what's going to light the fuse, right? Like it's a powder keg and something's got to light the fuse, whether that be a quote from someone, in the availabilities this week. I don't think we're going to get that from the Nebraska side, whether it be coaches or players. But I mean, maybe the powder keg doesn't get lit until Saturday, just after 6 or whenever people get into the tailgate lots or whatever. But I mean, that's what it's going to feel like all week long for sure. And it's going to be, I didn't know what to expect from Deion this morning, but he was, beating a similar drum that Rule was, talking about respect and that sort of thing. And I think that tells you where both programs are. I know there's been a lot of talk about the clash of cultures and measuring stick and all that stuff and what happened last year. But I think both programs, with the two coaches still could not be more different personality wise, but I think they're going to be having the same approach, a similar approach, at least front facing, this week. I bet it'll be a little different behind closed doors, but front facing, they're not going to try to, make this seem too huge in the grand scheme of things.
How much do you wonder right now? Because I don't know that we know the answer to this question. How much do you wonder about Nebraska just emotionally with all this? So this is the first game of the Rule era that's really big build up, and you feel like, man, they're kind of ready for this. Do you worry at all about Nebraska emotionally on Saturday night?
I don't know if worry is the right word, but it's definitely one of the things I'm curious about. I think that that could be another thing that comes back to Saturday was the guys that have been in the program the longest, they hadn't been one. I mean, they hadn't started a season 1-0 before. Like, how important is just getting to start a season 1-0 for the first time in your collegiate career? Nebraska's still a young team in the grand scheme of things, but I mean, think about guys like Ramir Johnson, who got to play, got the first first carry, and he hadn't started a season 1-0 in Nebraska, and just how important is that play to get that weight off your shoulder. But then you have this elephant in the room looming in week 2, and how fired up and juiced up it's going to be. I wouldn't say I'm worried about it, just because of the way that Rule and his coaches go about their business and what they're trying to instill is the mantra for the program. But it's definitely a question I've got, because in the grand scheme, like I said, they are still a young team. I mean, they have 17 seniors, and all but like 2 of them are going to play. But other than that, it's a lot of guys who this is going to be their biggest moment in a college football game.
Yeah, and what's funny, even with the age, I don't know that like, obviously the experience is a good thing and you're going to draw upon that, but I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot about this game that is just going to be different than all of the other ones. It just feels like it's built up to be, as important as, like, I guess in the grand scheme of things over the last several years, and we have hindsight with the rest of the games, with the exception of this one. Is this the biggest game in, I don't know, since this is the biggest game since when for Nebraska football?
I think just in terms of what it would feel like in the moment, I go with the 2016 Oregon game, and I know that game aged like milk in the Sahara Desert, but I think just the moment of that game felt so huge. And ironically enough, it was also the marquee non-conference game for a year two coach. And a lot of people were talking about what if they start 7-0. But the similarity, and they did. But I mean, there's plenty of similarities between that game and this game. Just how enormous it would feel in the moment for the program, for the fan base. The energy in the stadium, and also like that Oregon game. I think there's if this season goes the way Nebraska wants it to go, that this wouldn't be the marquee win on your schedule. It wouldn't age well, because who knows what the season could hold for Colorado. Big 12 play and questions around that whole thing. I'll just call it a thing. Out in Boulder, I mean, you don't know how that could go, how that could age. So, I mean, that's where the similarity comes for me. Looking at how this game feels, at least looking at it on paper, it feels like a huge moment. But in November, if the season goes the way that people both inside and outside the program want it to be, there'd be bigger moments than Saturday.
Yep, no doubt about it. But this is the one right in front of you. Jacob Bigelow,
Absolutely.
Huskers Illustrated. Jacob, appreciate the time as always. Have fun this week, and I'm sure we'll run into some sort of speed bump along the way at some point where somebody will say something. At least I guess we could hope. But Saturday is going to be fun. See you later.
Totally agree. Look at us, Happer, talking football. Who would have thought? But I appreciate the time like always. Have a good rest of the week.
There he goes. That's Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated. Look at us talking football. You can ask basketball boys football questions.
Yeah. Our guests are not one-dimensional.
Yeah. But make no mistake, we'll be asking them basketball questions soon enough. It's almost college basketball season, Josh. Have you heard?
Some people like it better than football.
Some people do.
Maniacs.
All right. Coming back, we got a few things that we still haven't gotten to yet today. Do we care that much about Scott Frost's new job?
I mean, I'd really just like to laugh at it.
Why? What's so funny?
I mean, well,
what's so funny, Josh? A man trying to get gainful employment?
We have a decision to make here. If I can just produce the show on the air.
Yes.
We've basically got one segment left to talk about stuff.
Yeah. We haven't talked about anything today.
We haven't talked about the dog crap boy.
Yep.
Or
the running backs.
Or Scott Frost. Or yeah, we could talk about Nebraska football as well.
Some more, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
What are you suggesting?
I think we maybe need to talk about the dog crap guy more than Scott Frost.
All right, we might have time for both. Maybe they're the same person.
Oh.
Conspiracy. All right, back after this on 1620 The Zone. An email about Scott Frost. What do you know?
Scofro.
Folks who said 2020 was over. COVID's back, new COVID, and we're emailing about Scott Frost again.
We're so back.
Here's Joel. In regards to Scott Frost's new job, I am already a little tired of seeing people say, can't we just let things go and be happy for him? Simply no, I cannot. I, for one, really enjoyed watching Dylon play in a Husker uniform and know that would not have been possible under Frost since he couldn't be bothered to show up for dinner. If he could still hold a grudge over getting booed in 1997, then I can hold one until he takes some responsibility for his half-assed tenure. Thanks, Joel.
Joel! Rackham.
You are
what an email.
Not happy for Scott Frost.
No. Hear me now, hear me loud, hear me clear. Do not misunderstand the words that are coming out of my mouth. Bleep that guy.
Oh my God.
Forever and always. That guy sucks.
Oh, man. He'll be a great analyst. He'll analyze.
He's a special teams analyst. What a terrible job for him. Him of onside kicks.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach McVay, I think you really need to onside it here.
They were never really good at the whole special teams thing while he was here.
This is ironic that he got hired to the position that he refused to fill a position for on his staff.
This was always the way that I thought this was going to go. He was going to get an analyst job in the NFL or in college somewhere.
Where's the rehab spot in the NFL?
No,
yeah, this might be it.
When that headline hit my feed yesterday, I was like, okay, Nebraska had won a football game over the weekend. Maybe if this hits in June, we'd probably spend a whole day on it, or we spend like at least an hour on it. But I just don't feel like this, we won't see or hear from him. He's an analyst.
That's right.
Will he be working remotely? I still have the question. Will he be working remotely?
I'm sure he's already asked.
Brian writes in.
Hi, Brian.
Is the dog bleep guy and Scott Frost the same story? Can we make Scott Frost eat dog crap, says John. And from the 402, Scott Frost was a dog crap head coach at Nebraska. So that's how we get into the dog crap guy story.
Excellent segue.
Dog crap guy, who is not Scott Frost. We can confirm that his real identity is not Scott Frost.
You don't know that. We think we know that.
Yeah.
But we don't
I don't know if Frost is big on burners, He's not big on his own, so
can't work the one he has. Yeah.
That'd be a long-term play. Hey, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fake as a Florida State fan for years and years and years, and then one day claim that I will eat a red Solo cup of dog poop if they lose this one game, which they might lose. And then once it happens, wipe myself off the earth entirely. That's what that guy did. That's not what Scott Frost did. So it's the internet, man. You can't go on the internet and claim that you're going to eat a red Solo cup of dog crap if this happens, and then that thing happens, and then just leave. I'm sorry. You can't. These people are going to chase you down. Unfortunately for this guy, his life is ruined. His life is ruined because he deleted all of his social media, and now people are going to come up to him in real life and say, hey, you're that guy who deleted all of his social media after you claimed that you were going to eat a red Solo cup of dog poop. What happened? Where's the poop? Where's the poop? People will be asking that of him the rest of his life. Where's the dog poop? We must find this guy and make him eat the dog poop.
So we were all asking the question, and then I think one of the unlikelier sources asked about it. Scott Van Pelt.
Oh, did he?
On SportsCenter said, you lose an embarrassing one to Boston College, and then you can't just delete your accounts. That's not how it works.
You got to like the best way. You got to turn it into some charity thing. Do a live stream and have all the proceeds go to whatever,
an animal shelter.
Yep, and
it's dog poop.
And maybe there's a compromise. You don't have to eat the dog crap out of the red Solo cup, but you have to do something mildly embarrassing, and then it goes to a good cause and everybody comes together. That's how 99% of these stories end. It's either guy claims he's going to get a tattoo on his butt and then he has to, or guy claims outlandish thing on the internet and turns it into cool thing. But no, this guy chose to claim outlandish thing on the internet and leave the internet entirely, which is the worst out of all three of the things. I would have rather got a butt tattoo. Instead, this guy he left.
I mean, that one,
he must eat the dog crap.
Now, this was in the moment, but that one Eagles fan ate that horse turd.
Exactly.
Right up off the street.
Exactly. People have done it before. You can do it.
You'll live. It's like I saw the scene from Step Brothers floating around quite a little bit where the kids bully him into eating that white piece of dog poop.
What was that guy? What was the kid's name?
Remember?
Somebody's going to have it right away. I can't think of it. What was that guy's name? It was Mr. Gardaki.
Chris Gardaki.
He goes, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Gardaki." That's the internet right now to this guy.
Yeah.
I got a belly full of white dog crap.
I don't mean to shift gears too wildly.
Uh-oh.
But would you like to hear a clip from the Pat McAfee show?
Did he say the F word? We can't do that.
I have listened to it.
All right.
That's why I didn't have much to say about dog crap, because I was listening to make sure these jackwagons didn't say anything they weren't supposed to.
Yep.
Hey, Nebraska looks good too.
Yeah, they did. How about
Matt Rule? Raiola, yeah.
Real quick, that's
That's
voice of
AJ Hawk.
That's what his voice sounds like.
I thought that was him. Yeah.
But we proceed.
Yeah, man.
Hey, that dime drop down the sideline with somebody in his, like, on his arm. It was like, oh, he is a guy. This is a guy.
Huge.
And him walking out, too, doing this number as a freshman starting in this one right here.
Love it.
I love it. It's like, okay, this guy's made for the moment. Dad, offensive lineman, I believe, right? So he's grown up literally in the trenches in football. He's got the moxie, the swagger, the size, the ability. It's like, I love this dude. Rule's got one. You know, it feels like Rule's, and Rule's defense is always going to play smart and sound. They got Colorado this weekend, and I think everybody's expecting Nebraska to do their thing against Colorado, but I think Nebraska's going to do their thing against a lot of people. Like, I really enjoyed watching this Nebraska team, and their fans are incredible. So adding them back into a limelight is a beautiful thing for college football, AJ.
He's hammered.
And adding
he doesn't know what he's
Nebraska
talking
team
about.
that we see like this is, we're watching highlights of long touchdown passes. Like, that's not the norm when you watch Nebraska football. So the fact that they're exciting with that whole Matt Rule,
enough.
old school mentality,
AJ,
like,
shut him off.
This guy won't shut up.
Every time Nebraska does something involving throwing a touchdown pass, they're like, "What world is this?" You act like Nebraska has been running like
what's the forward pass?
Yeah. Come on. I know last year was a disaster. They didn't throw for 200 yards in a single game last year.
That's right.
But you were on this planet in 2021. They had a real offense. They were in 2022. They had a real offense. They threw it a lot in 2022. Remember Trey Palmer? Bleep it. He down there somewhere. Everybody's using this as an excuse to say, "Oh, Nebraska offense? What is this?"
Just take the compliment, Connor.
No. This is an underrated, by the way. So a couple underrated stories. Thank you, Pat McAfee and AJ Hawk, for supplying us with things to talk about.
Content.
No, we have many things to talk about, by the way. So what will be the I know we're not thinking too far ahead here. We're attacking this game because that's what we do. We attack day by day.
1-0.
What will be the reaction nationally if and when Nebraska wins this weekend? They'll probably be in the top 25.
Mm-hmm. One would think.
It'll be close to it anyway. That'll be interesting because people are definitely wanting to join on this little train that's leaving the station here. Also, I saw somebody else make this point over the weekend. I think it's pretty cool that Nebraska's got a pretty good team. USC might have a pretty good team. Florida State sucks. That guy has to eat dog crap.
He does. We will never forget.
Tennessee, the 90s and the early 2000s, once again, back.
Did you watch Miami?
Miami, back. Cam Ward just flopping around out there.
Running up and down the field, throwing against his body.
He didn't even look like he was trying. He's just like, I'm going to sleepwalk through this and beat Florida.
That's because Florida's ass.
Yeah. Travis writes in, AJ Hawk can speak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been asking for years for that video evidence.
Yeah. Yeah. It happened. Joe in Vegas says,
Hi, Joe in Vegas.
The dog crap Florida State guy could be like Jed, podcaster Jed, 8 years ago, and who actually ate cat food tacos on unsportsmanlike conduct when he lost a bet.
No, thank you. Gross.
But if you say you're going to do something, then you just do it.
That's right.
Right? If you say that as a bet, you do it. We have a couple of those.
You pay your debts.
Yeah, I don't know what I'll have to do if I ever lose my wallet, but I do it. I never say. Or you be very careful and you don't say that you're going to do things that you're not capable of doing. Can't write those checks if you can't cash them. This guy has to eat the dog crap.
Yeah.
Out of the red Solo Cup.
I saw that tweet floating around midweek last week, and I went, oh, well, yeah, of course he said that, because he's never going to have to worry about that. And now here he is, afraid, deathly afraid that he's going to be doxxed.
Yeah. Not a great look for that guy. They'll find him. Don't worry. He'll eat that dog crap. You will eat that dog crap. It will happen.
What an amazing sentence.
Yep. He's going to eat it. I really wish I could say the S word because it's a lot funnier when you do.
Yeah.
But
it is.
Maybe one day. Maybe on YouTube.
Ooh.
All right. Back after this, we got the polls. We'll tell you what to watch on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
One single poll question today. I don't even know what we did today.
So busy
on the show. It was 4 hours went by in a blink, and we didn't really recap the game. We didn't really talk about what we thought. We didn't really talk about Colorado. We just went.
What'd you think?
The time just passed. I think they're good. I think Nebraska's good. I still think 8-4.
I
think I'm going to lose picks again this year.
Mm.
I'm bad at that.
I'm back, baby.
Yep. Josh is incredibly good. I'm going up against a very stiff competition.
We didn't do the worst segment ever.
No, because there was no fantasy this weekend.
There was gambling this weekend.
I did have my fantasy draft this weekend, though.
Who'd you get?
Took Jamar Chase in the first.
Is he going to play?
Yeah, he's just going to show up to play a little bit.
Is he going to play on Sunday?
I don't know.
9.5 point favorite over the Patriots. I'm thinking of dabbling, but
yeah, Patriots are going to be quite bad
if he's not going to play.
There's also this, there's like a 30. Have you heard of a 33 pool before?
No.
So you're in this pool, and all these people are assigned an NFL team for the week. And if a team hits 33, you get the cash, you get the payout at the end of the week. I got assigned the Patriots this week. So we'll be waiting for week 2.
Stinky.
To the polls, are blizzards complicated? No,
I don't think so.
59% say no. That was our poll question. Light on poll questions the last couple of days. We'll get you back covered. Poll questions are a summer job, by the way.
That's when they really thrive.
Yeah. But we're in it now. Mm-hmm. All right, Josh, what are we watching tonight?
We're watching Major League Baseball. TBS, game of the week, 6 o'clock in good old Flushing for the Red Sox and the Mets. MLB.
Big meteor.
Big meteor. 8:30 start in Oakland as the A's host the Mariners. MLB TV free game of the day. And finally on MLB Network at 8:30, it is Shohei Ohtani's return to L.A. as the Dodgers visit the Angels.
Ohtani.
More correctly, his return to Anaheim.
Yes, he's been in L.A. for quite a while now.
Almost his entire career. In this crazy mixed up world, we don't know what team is in what conference and what network these games will air on. SMU is a team that is in the ACC conference. Number 2 ranked Nebraska volleyball will be playing them tonight, 7 o'clock. So it will be on ACC network as God intended.
Mm-hmm.
Look through your guide and find it. You probably have it. U.S. Open quarterfinals on ESPN tonight. 3 Americans in action in 4 matches. WNBA, Chicago at Las Vegas, 9 o'clock on NBA TV.
Where's my Maction? Where's Maction?
Too early in the year.
No.
Too early in the year. Netflix has another one of those very fun and very not biased, untold documentaries. This one's titled Hope Solo versus U.S. Soccer. The documentary chronicles the tumultuous life and career of former U.S. soccer goalkeeper Hope Solo. Boy, I hope they don't try and make her look like the victim in all of this, because that would be a difficult turn.
Isn't that what documentaries are for, though?
I guess. I would be interested to hear the turn on how to make her look like a villain.
Josh, I think I should pay somebody to make a documentary for me to rehabilitate my image after my bad Heinrich Harburg takes.
Ooh. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I need it. I need it. I'm getting killed out here.
That's right. Your Menchies are a tire fire.
Mm-hmm.
Finally tonight, big night in the Happer household. 7 o'clock.
I don't care about baseball anymore.
3-hour season 21 finale of The Bachelorette. Jen reaches the conclusion of her journey to find love and joins host Jesse Palmer to watch the final dates with a live studio audience.
Yeah, I think my wife has not quite been as fired up as she usually is about The Bachelor this year.
Not in on Jen?
Yeah, I don't know why. I haven't really got to the bottom of it, but she seems to have fallen off over the last couple of years.
Okay. Well, I mean, time and time again, we've proven that this is not love.
Also, what a commitment. 3 hours every week. I mean, it's a long show. She watches that in American Idol. That's like all the time that I'm on the radio for the week. That's like 20 hours of television. It's a long shows. And both of them suck. Both of the shows, they're horrible.
Now those
all
are
three of them, if you include mine.
Those are great takes, Connor.
Thank you. Image rehabilitated. Josh, thank you.
Thank you, Connor.
That's what we're watching tonight. And that is the show. If you missed anything, you can find it all on our website, 1620thezone.com. The crossover is next.